This is a sentence that people are going to make fun of me for, but I don't care. Jake, can you go grab my fanny pack? Because I need to get the Tums out of it because I have heartburn right now. Thank you. No, I got that late night. Oh, you treat your body like a fucking waste dump and you lost your game of the year. Heartburn. Okay, we're back. On today's Pardon My Take, week 13 of the NFL. We recap every single game. We do fastest 2 minutes. We'll talk a little college football because the playoff is set. We have football guy of the week, who's back of the week. A great, great show for you because it is a football Monday. We only have a few left. And we're brought to you by our friends at Tostitos. Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. If you're watching football with your friends, you need two things, a TV and some Tostitos. End of list. No get-together is official until some Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL, get served. And maybe you're hosting the game. Maybe you need something to snack on while listening to us. Doesn't matter the occasion. Tostitos is there. If I was a betting man, I'd say odds are that you have a bag of Tostitos and some salsa in your kitchen right this second. Plus, they got a flavor for everyone. Hint of lime for folks who love a bit of zest. Habanero if you like kicking things up a notch. Hint of guacamole to make your guacamole taste even guacier. And fans can get in the game with a custom recipe for their favorite team at Tostitos.com/recipes. Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. Thank you so much to our friends at Tostitos. We love you, Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. Okay, let's go. Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the NFL. Today is Monday, December 6th, week 13. What? We start in Detroit, where Amon Raw Dog said, "What can St. Brown do for you? How about a Lions win in a Jared walk-off?" Kid Brock Wright caught a ball with the ball, da bang, diggy, 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 said the boogie, said a win in the Motor City. And we were a week late in roasting the Vikings like a Thanksgiving turkey as the lights are getting Zimmer on Mike's coaching reign. The Lions? Huh? The Lions win 29, Vikings 27.
What? In Atlanta, where it must have slipped the Falcons' mind to cover Leonard Fournette, who had 7 catches for 48 yards. Marlins man Davidson took a break from the MLB lockout to return an interception for a touchdown against Tom Terrific. Chris, tell me all your thoughts on Godwin, because I'd really like Atlanta to cover him. Had a huge day. And Rob Gronkowski, skeet motherfucker, cows, skeet, goddamn, was running open from the window to the wall. As the Bucks sweat drips off their balls onto Matt Ryan. The Bucks started the Falcons 17.
In Cincinnati, where Leenan Allen was sipping on the syrup and making the Bengals defense look very Drew Tranquil. Austin let the band play Eckler, added a touchdown against the Bayou Bengals. Speaking of the swamp, the Bengals defense looked like they were up to their neck in Larry Lake Ogunjobi. And Joe your boat Burrow wasn't able to get them out of the deep end. The San Diego Superchargers 41, the Bengals 22. It's long season, Tej.
In Houston, where Carson Mercedes Wentz took his team out for a Sunday drive, trying to get the Colts out of their Garfunkel after a tough loss late week, as You Can Call Me Al, KD and Muhammad had 2 sacks, and Tex Rex Burkhead was getting wrapped up like a burrito. Mark Davis Mills looked pretty awkward in relief of Tyrod Taylor, whose brother Jonathan had 2 touchdowns in the rout. The Colts 31, the Texans nothing.
Goose egg. In Chicago, where the star of David Montgomery would like to be the last to wish you a happy Hanukkah, as the last bit of oil in Matt Nagy's lamp is hopefully extinguished. We don't discriminate here, as Kyler We Wish You a Merry Christmas delivered 4 touchdowns down the Bears' chimney. Cliff, hark, the herald angels sing, glory be to the newborn Kingsbury, has the Cardinals rolling as they take down the Bears 33-22.
You nailed that one.
I crushed that one. Again, it's the long season, okay? Get off my fucking ass!
In Las Vegas, where Logan Roy Thomas got undercut by corporate raiders, Taylor Heineke, a.k.a. Brett Favre with a bigger dick, had a small wood of his own, talking about Wendell. And MILF Hunter Renfro went deep into the creases and put a dirty film out of Holcomb. The Washington football team is Becky Black with a kick from Brian Johnson to make them get back to 500. The Washington football team 17, the Raiders 15.
In the Meadowlands, Gardner Minshew started after they asked Jalen if he was hurt or injured, and they determined he had Dallas Goedert. Zach only lost the Wilson once this game as MetLife all did Tom Hanks impressions as the Jets were cast away 33-18.
The Eagles took down the Jets. Hey, Sully. Sully.
Hey, little gabagool.
In the 3:05, the Tua haters once again had to bite their tongue of Iloas as the Dolphins quarterback threw for a pair of touchdowns to shut them up. You might hear Miami fans yelling, "Forward, please," but they're not on the first tee quite yet. That would be in the name of Isaiah scoring a touchdown. The only scoring for the Giants came thanks to the foot of Graham Ganoy-Vay's mirror. This team stinks! The Dolphins are Mac Hollins, winners of 5 in a row. Miami 20, the G-Men 9.
Adrian P. Peterson took a poo-poo down the 49ers' throat at Lumen Centipede Field. Rich man Greg Kittler on the roof made the Seahawks look like ba-ba-da-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bums, but the 49ers were singing a different tune. Travis Homer Simpson had the Niners saying "don't" as he had the best fake this season besides Antonio Brown. Seattle 30, the San Francisco 49ers 43.
Boom, you got a good dope.
Dope!
we finished in Pittsburgh. We're in a private conversations that then became public via every reporter in the entire world. Big Ben is hanging up the walking boot at the end of the year. TJ, what you say? Sack Lamar Jackson 3.5 times, and Najee see me, Najee don't. Harris help propel a dead Steelers offense. John Harbaugh, Baran needed Mark Andrews' other hand to complete the 2-point conversion and get the win. The Steelers are back in the race with a 2019 win. All right, week 13 brought to you by our friends at Black Rifle Coffee Company. They are veteran-owned coffee company serving premium coffee to people who love coffee, who love America, and their CEO and founder, Evan Hafer, spent over 7 years on the ground overseas with U.S. Special Forces, and now he's making the best coffee in the world. Black Rifle Coffee is continually committed to supporting veterans. You got to go check it out right now because they have a buy a bag, give a bag initiative. They import high-quality coffee beans from all over the world and roast 5 days a week at their facility in Manchester, Tennessee, and Salt Lake City, Utah. The team at Black Rifle is continually researching and experimenting with new roasting method and coffee origins. You need coffee right now. It's Monday morning. You're listening to this. Black Rifle Coffee has some strong coffee, some delicious coffee. The best way to enjoy Black Rifle Coffee is by joining the coffee club. You pick your perfect roast, how much and when you want it delivered to your door, and they take care of the rest. It's free to sign up, and you get free shipping, discounts on partner brands, and early access to new products and club-exclusive products. So go to blackriflecoffee.com/take. Use code TAKE today and get the freshest coffee in America shipped to you. blackriflecoffee.com/take. Use code TAKE today and get the freshest coffee in America shipped to you. Okay, week 13. There is 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter of this Chiefs-Broncos games. We said it's probably time to throw in the towel. The Chiefs are officially back.
Now the Chiefs are my Don't Look Now team.
Oh, yeah.
Switched over to the Chiefs, and it shows you how bad the Chiefs looked earlier this season, where they can actually become a don't look back, or don't. What did I say? What was the phrase that I say? Don't look now.
Don't look now.
Don't look
don't
back
look
an
now.
anger team.
Don't look now.
The Don't Look Now team could be the Chiefs because their defense is now awesome. They've just completely flipped a switch. At the start of the season, I think I know what the answer is, by the way. I think that the Chiefs figured it out, not only like moving a couple of their defensive line guys around a little bit, and Sorensen obviously is playing really well, but also I think on offense they've learned that sometimes it's not great to just like go for the throat all the time,
yes,
and maybe let your defense rest. by running the ball,
Yep.
by moving the clock, and not just going for a home run shot on every single down.
Getting the easy shots. Yeah, their defense is starting to play very, very well. It also, this game proved to us, whenever you're watching the Chiefs play, announcers love to say, you can't beat the Chiefs with field goals. And that is true. You can't beat the Chiefs with field goals. But sometimes when your offense has a 20-play drive, which the Broncos did in that second quarter, and they get stopped on like the 5-yard line on a 4th and 2 play, that's very, very demoralizing. That's very, very demoralizing, and we've talked about it before with like Lane Kiffin. You don't beat the Chiefs with field goals, but sometimes you should kick a field goal, because when you do a 20-play drive for 15 minutes and get nothing for it, that fucking sucks.
You don't beat the Chiefs with field goals, but you can lose to the Chiefs by not getting first downs.
And also just not scoring points, because
Yes.
they also just didn't score any points. I mean, they could score here on some garbage time points, but they didn't score after that. And, the Chiefs – I mean, the Chiefs are like we talk. Who do we talk to about their defense? Oh, Mitchell Schwartz. Yeah, like they got healthy on the defensive line. They're starting to play some great defense. What we saw in September is not what we're seeing in December. The Chiefs are actually like one of those teams that, a Patriots-esque, like they've gotten better as the season has gone along, and they're now playing some of their best football and complementary football. And I still don't think like the offense is clicking all the way, which means that they're even scarier when you think about it.
You know what I think the Chiefs are doing right now? They're playing sustainable football, Big Cat.
Yeah.
This type of football can be
Green
played.
football.
Yeah, it's green. It's renewable football.
Mm-hmm.
This shit can be carried throughout the playoffs when it gets cold outside. They don't have to score 45 points a game to win all the time.
And the last thing I'll say about this game, they're showing John Elway right now on the TV. If you're a Broncos fan, it's just like you just don't have a quarterback. You haven't had a quarterback. You had Peyton Manning for a couple of years, which is very nice. You won a Super Bowl, even in the year that he wasn't like setting the world on fire. Because I think we confuse that sometimes with our memory. Like old Peyton Manning, we forget, oh yeah, he had that year where they lost the Super Bowl and they scored 1 billion points. But they're just still searching for a quarterback because their defense like came to play for the most part against the Chiefs offense. They have a nice running back in Javonte Williams. They have some nice weapons, and Teddy Bridgewater, nice guy, but they just don't have a quarterback. It's got to be so frustrating to just know that you have parts of your team that are really good and you just can't figure out the quarterback position.
Peyton Manning was the last quarterback to beat the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
For the Broncos.
That hurts.
That's tough. I think it's now 12 in a row that they've lost. It's just it's one of those teams, and I'm sure you probably have a feeling like this towards like the Packers in the division, where you're like, that's the one team that we just can't beat. And yeah, Teddy
not having a quarterback. Yeah,
Teddy doesn't look great.
No, he doesn't.
And he's so easy to root for too because of the injury and all that stuff. And everywhere he goes, people seem to love him. But I think it's time for America to have an open and honest dialogue about Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think that John Elway is going to stick with Teddy going.
He's not the guy.
He's not.
He's really nice to have on your team.
He's a guy.
He's really nice to have on your team, but you probably need someone else.
Yep.
He's a great backup and has had a nice career in the NFL, but that's about it. So unless an incredible miracle happens, that is that game.
Oh, also huge news tonight. The Chiefs snapped one of the most storied streaks in sports.
Which was?
They got a win with Jackson Mahomes in attendance. So many people, I was about to say we were doing it. We definitely weren't doing it. A lot of people were saying that's the reason why the Chiefs have gotten good because Jackson Mahomes stopped going to games. Turns out that's not the entire reason why they got good.
Correct.
That's part of it. But now with this new sustainable, renewable Kansas City Chiefs complementary football, I think that it's safe to now reintroduce Jackson Mahomes to these native environments.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's get to the rest of Week 13. The biggest game in Week 13, the game with the most playoff implications, not actually, but the most important game. The Detroit Lions have won a football game. Round of applause
Let's go, Dan
for the
Campbell.
city of Detroit. You cannot keep these Lions down for an entire 365 days, and I say that because the last time they won was 364 days ago.
There we go.
Against the Bears, December 6th, 2020. So you cannot keep them down for an entire full year.
That would be too much. If you win a full year without a win. Right now, it's the Miami Dolphins from 2000 and the last unbeaten. It was obviously the Cleveland Browns from 2017.
Right.
Are popping their bottle or popping their bag of Franzia.
Yes.
And then the old Lions, and then those Dolphins went 1-15, I think. So they're not joining the ranks of those two unbeaten teams.
Incredible win. They deserve it. They are. I think we can all agree here. Like the Lions are not the worst team in the NFL, even though they are. It took them this long to get the win. Like, if you look at point differential, the fact they've been in every game, all those things. Like, the Lions are not the worst team in the NFL, and finally they get a win. Dan Campbell gets his win. Jared Goff gets his win. 75 yards touchdown drive to end the game with 1:50 left. No timeouts. Incredible. I do not understand for the life of me what the Minnesota Vikings were doing on defense on that last play after a timeout, by the way, which they collected themselves. They said, hey, we can't let them score a touchdown. Then they sagged off of the receivers and basically let Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Equanimous' brother,
sit down in the end zone with no one even close to him. And, it was incredible. I'm happy for Detroit. I'm happy for the Lions. It sucks to go 0-16 or 0-16-1. We don't have to tell Lions fans that, so it feels like a monkey off their back.
Yeah, it was great to see them win. And Cam Dantzler on that last play, he looked like he was going to guard St. Brown running directly towards the corner pylon. Didn't make any sense whatsoever. It was he gave him a 7-yard cushion in the end zone.
It's crazy.
It was crazy defense. The good news for the Lions is you figured out how to overcome your mistakes now. Because let's be realistic, the Lions are probably always going to make some mistakes that will cost them games. But if you're good enough to overcome the boneheaded mistakes that you make towards the end of games, then maybe you might be able to squeeze out one or two here or there. And I'll say something nice about Kirk Cousins, because this loss was not on Kirk Cousins.
No,
Kirk Cousins played as well as you can possibly play and still lose to the Lions.
Yes, he did. And he, obviously, Adam Thielen got hurt. That doesn't really matter. The Vikings play down to their competition. They've done it all year. They sleptwalked the first half. They came roaring back. The Lions did everything they could try to do to lion it away, and you left too much time, and this is what happens.
Jared Goff happens.
Jared Goff just happened in your fucking face, Minnesota. I think it doesn't. Obviously, the Vikings, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, but 7 playoff seeds, everyone's still alive forever. And the Vikings are still alive, but it feels like they're dead because it feels like a double loss. You can't be the team to let the Lions win their first game, especially when everyone's talking about how, the Vikings are actually not that bad. They're in every game. They have a 7-point lead in every game. They've won some big games. They beat the Packers. No, it's over probably for the Mike Zimmer era in Minnesota. It's probably, I don't know what they can do with Kirk Cousins, but this did feel like the loss that the point of no return in terms of losses for the Vikings.
It's tough for Mike Zimmer that your team had the exact same balance on offense as the Lions did. They had the exact same number of passes, the exact same number of rushing attempts as the Lions did. Anytime you can be compared as equal to anything happening in terms of football strategy with the Detroit Lions, it's probably the death knell for your career.
Yes.
At that point. And the crazy thing is, I think the Vikings are still a pretty good football team. Even though they lost to the Lions. The Lions gave them their best shot today. Credit to Detroit for playing to the top of what they can do. But I still don't think the Vikings are that bad because they beat the Lions at the peak of their power, or they lost the Lions who were at the peak of their powers and wearing the color rush uniforms, the all grays. And if I'm Detroit, I bring those bad boys out next week.
Absolutely.
Those are going to be our uniforms for the rest of the year because we won a game in them.
Have to. Yeah, no, you're right. The Vikings, I still don't think they're that bad. And it's a combo of they play in thrilling games. A lot of guys on the team. Justin Jefferson he's a top 3 receiver in the NFL. Adam Thielen gets hurt, and Justin Jefferson is you'd think the Lions would be all right, we're going to just take him away. You can't take him away. He ended up with 182 yards on 11 catches. He's incredible. He had the touchdown that should have been the game-winning touchdown for the Vikings. And I agree with you. They're not a bad team, but they lose games that they should win, and they you are what you are. It's enough to be the Vikings. You could play the schedule game with the Vikings, where you could be they're a couple plays away from being a really, really good team. Well, really, really good teams make the couple plays and they win the games. That's the difference. They make a play at the goal line and don't let the Lions get their first win of the season. So no, they're not a really good team, and you can't be they're a few plays away, because that's what the good teams do.
You know what it is about the Vikings? Why we do know a lot of players on the team. We still think that they're very good, is because anytime you have a playoff win, I'm going to remember that you get a 3-year buffer. after that.
carries.
If you keep like the nucleus or just basically have the same quarterback, coach, and a couple guys on defense that I remember, I'll be like, yeah, that Vikings team, they're still really good.
Yes.
They can make some noise in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a bad loss for them.
It's terrible.
Double loss is probably an understatement. I would say this might be like a season-ending loss for the Vikings. Now, are the Lions still in the hunt? Because going into today,
I saw that
they were in the hunt.
Yeah, I saw that entire. I don't think they're mathematically eliminated yet.
Can we do at least the clock of parity where we have every team beating connected to another team now?
Yes, now you officially
can't wait to see that.
But yeah, the Lions, I don't think they have been officially eliminated.
Still alive. They're still alive because San Francisco lost.
Their record is so awesome. 1-10-1 is such an awesome record. I was laughing.
Palindrome.
It's a palindrome. Even when they were it's not.
Yeah, 1-10-1 both ways. Well,
no,
that's not. That's
Jake,
not a palindrome, Jake.
Jake, take a lap.
Jake,
take a lap.
Jake,
take a lap. Jake.
By the digits, they're not.
1101 is not a palindrome.
But the numbers 1-10-1.
I know what you're.
Again, that's not a palindrome.
I'm wrong, but you see
Yeah.
what I'm
Hey,
saying.
there we go. There it is.
I admit it. I'm wrong.
And the biggest story coming out of this game is Jake is wrong. All right.
But 1-10-1.
Yeah, 1-10-1.
It does
I'm
sound
happy,
cool.
though.
I think that's what Jake was trying to say. 1-10-1 looks and sounds very cool.
It is. Actually, look at this.
That also might be a scoregami for a record. Has any team ever had a 1-10-1 record before?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I wanted to just quickly just give a shout out because I reached out for comment from a very famous person to see how they felt about it. And they said, it was in our end zone, felt a lot different since you were sitting next to us. Got that monkey off our back. I sat through one winless season. I could not do another. I guess to answer your question, relief. And he spelled it RELEIF. So whatever, that's fine. Detroit Don has weighed in. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Superfan. I'm happy for the fans, like Lions fans, because they suck. And we know they suck. And everyone knows they suck. But there's just a difference between, and I don't have to tell Lions fans this, going winless and sucking. Like they are not the worst team in the NFL. When my power rankings come out, they will not be the worst team in the NFL. I was looking at the point differential. I think there's 4 teams that are actually worse than them point differential.
Yeah, because they keep figuring out weird ways to lose games, like the more heartbreaking ways to lose. This would have been a new one, by the way.
Really
if they had lost this, I'm frankly amazed at the creativity that the Detroit Lions as a franchise possess.
Keep you on your toes.
In terms of figuring out ways that have never been done before to lose games.
Yes.
It's truly incredible. But you were able to overcome your own heartbreaking experience today. Don't go into work today. If you live in Detroit, you don't have to go into work.
And you're probably a Michigan football fan, so things are looking real up for you.
Real good.
Michigan wins, goes to the college football playoff. Detroit Lions win, get their first win of the season.
Baseball's on strike, so you don't have to worry about the Tigers sucking.
Well, you have Javi Baez now.
Oh, there you go.
You aren't gonna. So you're gonna at least be fun if you suck.
Yep.
So yeah, Detroit is on the up and up. Congrats. That's an awesome win. That's an awesome weekend. An awesome Sunday. Feels good. Watch SportsCenter. Enjoy it. It is the biggest story coming out of this weekend. All right, next game, Chargers Bengals. God damn it, can I not figure out these two teams? So, and even inside of the game, it was like the most Chargers-Bengals game because it went Chargers going up 24-0 with the Bengals having a couple like terrible gaffes, including Jamar Chase tipping a ball into an interception,
right,
which would have been like a huge play. Then the Bengals roaring back to make it 24-22. Then the Chargers getting a scoop and score to make it I think it was 31-22, and then next thing you know, you blinked and they were up by like 2 touchdowns and the game was over.
Well, also when they got that scoop and score, Brandon Staley was going to go for 2.
Yes.
Instead of kicking an extra point. That was the most Brandon Staley move ever, to the point where he was being so aggressive that it made 0 sense mathematically what he was doing.
He just stays aggressive.
Usually people, I think that's his thing. I think he's just an aggressive person, and for the most part, his aggression happens to overlap, if you're doing a Venn diagram, of like killers and then nerds, because the nerds see like how aggressive he's being, but it always fits into the situations where the nerds would also be aggressive.
Right.
But they don't know that he doesn't have a restrictor plate on his aggression.
Yes.
He can be so aggressive. He can be aggressively stupid at times.
He went for 4th and 4 to start the game.
Yep.
To score a touchdown. Like he was like, fuck it, I'm scoring a touchdown. Here's what I'll say is like Brandon Staley, he seems reckless at times, but at least he's consistent in his aggression.
Yeah.
Like, he just goes for it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a fan of the Chargers, you can find solace in the fact that you just know your coach is going to be like balls to the wall, hardcore, all the time.
He lives his life 60 seconds at a time.
Yeah.
He's like Paul Walker. And you know what? That dude won a lot of races.
Yes,
and that's
he
all
did.
that's all we'll
exactly
say about
where
that.
We'll end. No, he just goes fucking crazy. Like, he is the friend who's always up for anything and is like gonna do some wild shit.
I think,
but he's also really fun to have around.
Really fun to have around.
Like, an awesome dude to have around.
The only reason I don't really trust him fully is that he looks a little bit too much like Mayor Pete. I feel like he's always got something.
He does need to add a little bit of like weight to his frame, a little muscle to his frame, because he's got. Like, there are some coaches that get fatter as the season goes along. I think he's getting skinnier. So, and that always worries me because, like, dude, if you're a football coach, like, you need to just be eating late night, just gross food and getting fat and fat and fat.
Especially,
like, Julian Edelman told us that they used to call Brian Dable the bowling ball.
Yeah,
because he would put on 60 pounds during the season.
That's
what I want.
Easily 60 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Especially if you're going to be coaching the defense. I feel like an offensive-minded coach could stay skinny. That's kind of natural because you want to be quick. You want to look like you're, relatively in shape at times. But on the defensive side, if you want those big dudes to respect you, you got to get inner bulking season. You got to just be funneling. Just, I can't believe it's not butter.
Yes.
Just by the gallon, chugging it. I think that I misspoke when I said last week that the Bengals. Well, no, I didn't misspeak. I said that the Bengals might be a couple pieces away from going to a Super Bowl. I think the pieces that I was referring to were actually like a pair of hands.
Yes.
Because when it comes to turning the ball over, they're not good enough yet to overcome any severe mistakes that they made. And they made a couple bad ones.
And speaking of hands, I mean, Joe Burrow's pinky was fucking huge by the end of the game.
Did you ever used to play Bloody Knuckles in high school?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Coming back from like the cafeteria.
It was
and your
bad.
teacher's like, what just happened? It looked like you just punched a cheese grater.
Yeah, this game, though, these are the two most erratic. I actually saw the stat. They're the most volatile teams in terms of performance, which it makes sense that you see a game that, like, the swings were insane. And the Chargers I can't figure them out. I won't try to figure them out.
I still think they're good.
I don't think they're good. I think they're building something good, but like right now. But then again, the AFC is wide open, so who the fuck knows? And the Bengals, the same thing. Every time that you think the Bengals are taking a step forward, they take a huge step back. And one of these teams, it feels like, is not going to make the playoffs, and we're going to say to ourselves, like, man, if they had made the playoffs, watch out.
Here's what I'll say about the Chargers: if they're playing their best game, their best possible game, nobody can beat them.
Yes.
I think at their peak they're better than any other team in the NFL. But the problem is it
doesn't show up.
It doesn't show up all the time. But when it does fall together, it's a beautiful thing to watch. Justin Herbert had maybe the best tackle of the year.
Yeah, he did.
On that, was it an interception?
Justin Herbert also throws the ball so fucking hard all the time. Like, he actually is trying to kill someone on some of these passes where it's like that 4th and 4 that they went for like 4 minutes into the game. He just rifles it in there.
Yeah, if you want to play receiver for the Chargers, you definitely have to wear 2 pairs of gloves.
Yes.
He's going to knock you out with it.
I'm looking right now. Chargers have the Giants next, which you would assume they're going to win because now not only is Daniel Jones' neck hurt, but Mike Glennon has a concussion. So Jake Fromm is potentially going to play in an NFL game.
Holy shit.
I'd assume that Daniel Jones will be ready to go, but Jake Fromm has been signed by the Giants, and he could be the guy playing against the Chargers next. And they play the Chiefs, Texans, which should be a win, and Broncos and Raiders. So, yeah, I mean, the Chargers will make the playoffs. The Chargers will make the playoffs. All right, next up. And the Bengals, I feel like they'll be the odd man out, especially, yeah.
I think this season's already a win for the Bengals.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's definitely surpassed expectations. I think their win total in Vegas was 5.5 going into this year. So good job, Bengals. If the season ended today, you'd be very happy. A Bengals team being 2 games above 500, that's pretty good.
They have a tough remaining schedule, and I feel like who knows what the ending will be. The Broncos now are going for a drive to cover a spread, which is going to end in a Teddy Bridgewater tackle short of the first down line. Okay.
You know what? The green zone, though, at Arrowhead looks way better. It's like a nicer shade of green than it does any other stadium.
Very, very green. All right. Next up, Eagles, Jets. So Gardner Minshew is officially back. Very happy for him. You saw the video afterwards. I'm just looking right now. They both might make the playoffs, by the way, because right now, if the playoffs started, the Chargers and the Bengals would both be in 6 and 7, which actually makes perfect sense. All right, so Eagles, Jets. Gardner Minshew's back. Very happy for him. That post game with his dad, that video, you can just see the guy loves football. It's great that he got another shot. He made a lot with it because he tore up the Jets. You had Robert Saleh like losing his mind on the sidelines. He's showing that I'm just frustrated to be coaching this team part of the season for him. Also, the most remarkable point of the game was we didn't have the Jets and the Eagles on TV because we had the red zone on, so they didn't make the cut of the other 5 TVs. So we asked Billy what's going on in the game, and he was like, the Jets are winning. And then he came back like 30 seconds later. He's like, actually, the Jets are losing 27-18.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's a major difference.
Well, I understand it because if you just happened to walk by a TV when this game was on and you only had 2 seconds to figure out who was the Jets and who was the Eagles, you would have gotten it wrong.
Yes.
Because the Jets
time.
The Jets were wearing black jerseys, right, and green helmets.
Yeah, it was the Green Bowl.
It was very tough to figure out, and I love watching Gardner Minshew. He's the easiest quarterback to root for if you don't have a dog in any fight. Like when he pops up just a couple weekends each season, you want to root for the guy.
Absolutely.
He absolutely loves football. He's a great guy to root for. And it's nice. He's a perfect quarterback to have pop up as like a nice little mid-season distraction, just like a flare-up. He's like when South Park has a Randy Marsh episode where it does just a Randy storyline for 1 week, doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the season, but you get to watch Randy like hop around on his giant nuts. That's what it's like watching Gardner Minshew play.
Yeah, it's nice to see him out there. He had a really good game, and he threw the ball well. Billy, what do you think about the Jets? Zach Wilson actually wasn't terrible.
He had one pick that was kind of bad, but he threw.
Well, that's Mr. INT.
Yeah, but it was actually one of his best showings.
Okay,
best starts of his career, without the pick. But
minus the pick.
This game also
even
had
with the pick.
Even with the pick, the first 6 drives resulted in a touchdown, which is very fun.
Wait, was his pick on 3rd down?
No.
Okay,
so not a punt.
Well, it's still kind of a punt.
Close to a punt.
It was like a 20-yard pick. It could have been like.
Was it 2nd down at least?
I think so.
Okay,
I mean,
so pretty much a punt.
The Jets season is in full on, just hope that Zach Wilson shows progress mode.
Yeah.
Which is not a terrible place to be because you just drafted him and you hope he shows progress. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's if you're a terrible team, and this is speaking from my team is terrible right now, you hope either your guy is showing progress or you're about to draft someone who's going to be really, really good. Those are the 2 remedies. Otherwise, you're just stuck in the mid zone where you're like, this kind of sucks.
All you want right now is to go into this next draft and not have to even think about using one of your 2 first-round picks on a quarterback.
Right.
If you're like, I think we have our guy that we can build around. That's a good place to be.
They can't. They won't.
They won't.
No, they won't.
Well, silver lining is at least in this draft, there probably won't be any quarterbacks that will be taken in the first 5 picks.
You know what they'll do? This feels like the Jets like drafting 2 offensive linemen in the first 10 picks to be like, now we've got it all figured out, and they both suck.
No, Gettleman's going to trade and then take those 2 linemen that the Jets were going to take.
Yes.
Then the Jets will be pissed off and not be able to get their pick in time.
Or they'll take a safety, yeah. And they'll just be like, well.
A blitzing safety.
Yeah.
We need to fill the shoes of Jamal. They're going to take the pick that they got for Jamal Adams and draft Jamal Adams' replacement.
Yeah, maybe a tight end. Just those last pieces. But yeah, the Eagles are back in it. Big win for them. Big win, especially with Jalen Hurts getting hurt. And I think, I don't know, let's let Gardner Minshew just roll with it for a minute. You don't want to face him next week.
I don't think that you can take Gardner Minshew out right now.
You don't want to face him next week. You're facing him next week.
No, we got the Cowboys next week.
The Eagles have a bye. Wow.
Yeah.
These buys are way too late.
So this probably is Gardner Minshew's last start. They're probably going to put Hurts back in. And I think Hurts is playing really well. They figure out how to use him. The offense does look different with Gardner in it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you can throw the ball.
Yeah.
He was 20 for 25. Mike Leach told us you can't teach accuracy. Mm-hmm. Gardner Minshew's an accurate quarterback. All right, next up, Dolphins-Giants. The Jake Marsh prediction of the Dolphins getting very hot and getting back in the race is now almost fully complete.
Bye, then one more. Home against the Jets.
Jets, yes. So
I would say this bye is coming at a bad time for the Dolphins.
Yeah, they're hot.
You don't want this. You're going to cool off this week.
Yeah, you got the Jets.
I have a couple stats I want to throw out there. So the Dolphins defense is playing incredible. The last 5 games, they've given up 55 points total. So 11 points a game. Incredible. Tua has been awesome. And someone in passing, I can't remember who said it, while we were watching the games, that Tua it basically as soon as Deshaun Watson, like the trade deadline passed and he didn't have to like look over his shoulder, he's been great. So I had Ebo go look it up. Before the trade deadline, Tua this year was 1-3, 66% passing, 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. After the trade deadline, he's been 4-0, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 78% completion percentage. So, yeah, maybe like not having to answer questions every week of whether or not you're going to get traded or not be the quarterback of this team, maybe that helps take a weight off your shoulder, and he's playing a lot better. And that fake he did was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That for the people who are not part of the Tuanon, which I now proudly consider myself a part of the Tuanon, go watch that fake. He faked everyone out. He sold it so well. I like Tua.
Mm-hmm. Where we go one, we go all.
Yeah.
Storm's coming.
Yes.
That
Here
Jaguars lost in London.
I can't wait until JFK Jr. is coaching the Dolphins because then we will go to the next level, folks.
Hell yeah. I also think that their defense obviously has a lot to do with
Yeah, no,
with
he's
the
been
Dolphins.
awesome.
Because even when you said like he's playing a lot better after the break, completion percentage is really good. But still, I think you said he's only thrown like 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, he did, but they're not asking him to do a ton.
Yeah, he's doing great though.
He's not making mistakes.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah, no, I'm
happy with Tua.
Tua.
The pass that he had in the corner, where he like looked his receiver off, and then found him at the very last second.
Yep.
That was sweet. That was a next level play. That's,
yes.
As Ron Jaworski would say, that's a professional throw.
Yes.
He can make
in the National
Football League. You have to be able to make professional throws, and Tua can do it right now. He was 30 for 41 today. That's what I was most impressed about with Tua.
Yeah,
30 for 41. That doesn't sound like a Tua stat line.
No,
that's like an actual NFL quarterback stat. That sounds like a decent college happy hour price beer stat line.
But his completion percentage is crazy. Like in the last 4 games, he's been very, very efficient, not making mistakes. I don't know. I like Tua. And it also, the teal, like when he's starting to play well, the teal looks fucking awesome.
Teal pops on him for sure.
And yeah, the Dolphins, I don't know if they'll get enough to make to the playoffs, but I guess the only downside is if you're a Dolphins fan, is like being the team that perpetually just builds on the end of the season, and then you're like, next year it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, Brian Flores, coach of the year.
Yeah, right.
Again.
At the end of the season, like we play our best ball after we're mathematically eliminated.
Yeah,
which they're not.
No, but they look like a very competent football team. They're a team that can definitely beat any bad team right now. And the Giants, without Danny Dimes, are not a good team. It's actually the best thing for Giants fans is getting a little dose of Mike Glennon every now and again to just remind you didn't know how good you had it with Danny Dimes when Glennon is out there. God
is really like has a fucked up sense of humor when you have Daniel Jones have a neck injury and then you bring in Mike Glennon.
Yeah, and then Daniel. Yeah, exactly. Like their injuries should have been
Jake, you got to stop
on each other.
You're killing me.
Also,
it's cold in here for anyone who knows. Jake's cold, so his sinuses are acting
I
up.
think he's back
and
on
Billy's
the nose spray.
Part dog.
Jake's on the junk.
it's Billy's part dog.
Yeah.
The Giants are. You need Daniel Jones and Joe Judge though. Like, whatever. I'm not done with the Giants.
Saquon's got to be so frustrating to root for too if you're a Giants fan because he was so good when he was a rookie, when he was literally all that you had. And now he just gets the ball, and I don't know if he forgot how to play running back, but he always pulls out these jukes that it makes it look like he's got an invisible basketball that he's dribbling around.
Yes.
He does like these weird spin moves. He does like Kyrie. He does like a Euro step with the ball sometimes.
Yeah, he crosses people up.
And you know how Kyrie and Steph Curry does this sometimes too? You get into the key, and then you just jump up in the air and you do a 360 layup. That's what it looks like Saquon's doing sometimes, running through the line of scrimmage with the ball.
Yes.
And it never works. I don't know if I feel like he probably has lost some confidence in his own body, like in his legs and in his feet from being injured so much, but he doesn't look like the same Saquon that we saw as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Saquon is like he always has been kind of the guy who gets stuffed a lot and then hits a home run. Mm-hmm. So if the home runs aren't there, it doesn't look great.
I love
that was what he was at Penn State too. He'd like get stuff, then hit a fucking incredible play that was like, holy shit, this guy's special, and he is.
Yeah, I love using analogies from other sports to talk about different sports.
Yeah,
so he's the Adam Dunn of running backs.
Yes, strikeout, dinger.
Yep.
I just looked. The Dolphins, as good as they're playing, and they've climbed almost all the way back to 500. They're still like on that that ledge because they are the 13th team in the AFC right now. and then it falls off a cliff, goes to the Jets, the Texans, and the Jaguars. So it's going to still be tough for them to make the playoffs. But they're building something. We can't hate on them building something.
No, 6-7 is not bad.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Bucks Falcons. Okay. Well, let's start with the Bucks. It's like Tom Brady. Everyone's said a million things about him, but I think the thing. Oh, thank you, Jake. The thing that is craziest about Tom Brady is just how he, like, game to game, can just use different receivers and be like, that guy's just going to go off today because that's what the defense is giving me. Chris Godwin had 15 catches today. Chris Godwin has been like an afterthought at points in this Bucks run, this 2-year Bucks run. Leonard Fournette had 7 catches. Like, Gronk still had his 2 touchdowns in the red zone. It's just you can't. There's nothing you can do when they have this many weapons, and Tom Brady is also not going to force it to anyone and be like, I'm just going to hit the guy who's open. Chris Godwin's open 15 times. He's getting the ball 15 times.
Do you think Tom Brady singles out the guy that's going to be his guy that week? And it was like that in New England, too.
Yeah, right.
Where, like, any game, somebody was liable to go off. Like, it would be Algie Crumpler or whoever would manage to go off for, like, 11 catches out of nowhere.
It's crazy. Every single week, something else to kill you some other way. And this is also the Bucks are starting to round into that form of, oh, shit, this team is really, really good. Their defense still is a little suspect at times, but they handled the Falcons pretty easily. I mean, the pick 6 was really the only thing that kept the Falcons in it, and they did try very, very hard to cover the spread. The Falcons did. That last play with 2 seconds left, what a thriller. Shout out to Falcons for at least trying, but you should have covered that spread.
So the Bucks threw the ball 51 times and ran it 17, and they came out looking like they were going to run the ball 0 times throughout the game. The Bucks are good enough on offense where they can do that. They can do anything. Like, if you have Tom Brady as your quarterback, you can basically treat his arm like it's another running back.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to miss on the short throws, and he's going to be super accurate, and you're going to be able to control the clock that way. On defense, I still think Bucks are suspect on defense.
Yeah, no, their secondary is a problem.
Their secondary is an issue, and they get run on at times.
Yeah, Cordarrelle Patterson actually had a really good first half. Cordarrelle Patterson's so good, he ran on the Bucs defense, which is like no one does that. Jonathan Taylor, they stopped. The Colts like gave up with Jonathan Taylor last week. Cordarrelle Patterson, who's not even a natural running back, was able to get, I think he had like 70 yards in the first half.
He's a football player. He's an offensive weapon.
I have a fun stat for you. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole because I saw that Brady and Gronk are now second all-time in regular season touchdown connection. So they have 90.
Okay.
Second all-time. So I was like, well, who's first? First, do you want to take a guess?
Jerry Rice?
No, I thought too, but it's actually, he split like pretty evenly.
Marvin Harrison?
Yeah, Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning have 112 regular season touchdown connection. Marvin Harrison, how many playoff touchdowns does Marvin Harrison have? He has 112 touchdowns from Peyton Manning in the regular season. He has 128 career touchdowns in the regular season.
Okay. 3. I'm going to say 2.
2.
Yeah.
He has 2. It's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
Again, this is like a total veer off the road stat, but he had 16 playoff games career, and guess what? The 2 came in the same game. So he had 15 career playoff games where he didn't score a touchdown. A guy who had 128 career regular season touchdowns. That's wild.
I'll just speak up for Hank on this one. It's because the Colts would always choke in the playoffs. He didn't play in that many postseason games.
He played 16.
Yeah.
That's a full season. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? That because like that's 112 regular season touchdown connection with Peyton Manning and then having 2 in the playoffs. That's nuts.
It is nuts. And Gronk was saying, did you see his press conference after the game?
No.
He was talking about like how things have changed for him as he's gotten adjusted to playing in Tampa Bay in that system. He was like, in our first training camp, I was like counting the number of receptions I was getting and the number of touchdowns I was getting. In preseason, I was counting like how many catches I would have per game, how many targets. And then Byron Leftwich told me like, hey, Gronk, you shouldn't worry about counting. You're not good at counting. You should worry about playing football. And Gronk was like, that's a good idea. I'm going to stop counting and I'm going to start playing football. That's a fair division of labor, as Mike Tomlin would say.
Yes.
To have Gronk not worrying about math.
Yes, absolutely. Let's not sweat the hard stuff here. Yeah. All right. So the Falcons, they are what they are. They're like good enough to beat the bad teams and bad enough to get smoked by the good teams.
They're a self-hating bad team.
Yes.
They will beat other bad teams that are other teams that play against non-Falcons teams in the same manner that the Falcons would play against non-Falcons teams. the Falcons smoke those teams. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
they beat teams that are constructed in similar fashions to the Falcons, but they can't beat anybody better than the Falcons.
They're like the alpha at like a small liberal arts college.
Yes.
And then they go to the big state school, and it's like, you're not that cool.
Yeah, no one likes you here.
Right. That wasn't directed.
No, it was like
at anyone.
It was like, dude, don't play your guitar on the quad here.
That wasn't directed at anyone, but that is how it is. It's like big fish, small pond.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go in the ocean and they get swallowed up by everyone else.
Then they go home and then they're like, man, nobody likes me at school.
Yeah.
And then they just start working for their dad.
Yes. That's
Again,
not you.
I'm not
That's
talking
not
about
you.
you. I'm
That is
not talking
literally
about
not
you,
you
Billy.
anymore. He just veered off.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about Matt Ryan. I don't think he's done because he's actually played pretty well this year, especially considering the fact Calvin Ridley is taking a leave of absence. Julio Jones obviously goes to Tennessee. He doesn't have anyone. They don't have a running game. I'm going to float this out there. What about, because Matt Ryan, let's be honest, like he's still okay, but he needs a really good offensive line because he gets sacked and he doesn't have any mobility. Matt Ryan next year going home to Philadelphia, kind of perfect.
I don't know about that. I don't think that the Eagles would go for Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I don't think that. You just like it because you love a homecoming story, as we all do.
Coming home. Yeah. No,
Hollywood would slit your throat if you suggested that to them.
They have a good offensive line. They have some weapons. I don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Hurts. I think I don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Hurts.
I think that the Eagles.
I'm just floating it out there.
The Eagles' offensive plans at the quarterback position do not rely on getting like a 37-year-old quarterback in there. They've got two guys right now on the roster that I could see them taking into next year, and then they're going to have
it was just one game from Gardner Minshew against the Jets.
I'm saying he'd be a great backup.
Yeah, no, he's a backup, but I'm saying like, okay, you're not going to draft someone probably.
Why not?
They might.
They have enough picks. They have enough picks. I don't think that they're going to try to like build something around Matt Ryan.
Throw it's not build something around him. It's like a Phil Rivers year where it's like, hey, let's see what happens this year. We have enough still left in this offense because their offensive line is very, very good. But there's pieces of it are getting old, so it's like let's fucking throw it all in for one last run here with a quarterback who's done big things before.
I'll buy it if you can show me one small connection to Nick Sirianni. I don't care how tenuous the connection is. Maybe maybe their uncles grew up and played on the same high school football team together. If there's a connection there in Philadelphia, then I'll buy it. Then I'm actually all in on it because it seems like that's how things get done in Philadelphia. Okay,
you're right. I'm going to try to find one.
Someone find us a connection between Nick Sirianni and Matt Ryan because I'll get behind it 100% if that's there.
Nick Sirianni was the quarterback coach for Phil Rivers.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like he's dealt with immobile quarterbacks who still have a little pep in their arm. Mm-hmm. Just throwing it out there.
Do you think that maybe Matt Ryan's playing so well this year because the locker room attendants are stealing the defensive game plans from the opponents?
Yes. Oh, did we ever find out? Did Brady's jersey, is it intact? Is it stolen?
I think it's intact.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, actually, the follow-up, the guy got fired.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Because you narked on him?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's not a big deal. Who cares?
Jake?
A guy named Landon Bromley. He has a list of top 10 biggest losers in the NFL, and both Matt Ryan and Nick Sirianni are on there.
Okay, wow. That's a start.
That's a big way. This is a random guy?
You just
typed it out on Twitter. Wait, give us the whole list. Give us the whole list. That's exceptional.
Wait, Jake, is this in order or is this
I don't think it's in order.
Okay.
I typed in Nick Sirianni, Matt Ryan on Twitter, and Landon Bromley's tweet top 10.
Okay, I can't believe that actually is more of a connection than you like because Matt Ryan has not lost. Like he's won. I would imagine his winning percentage is above 500, and also Nick Sirianni has been like around for basically a cup of coffee in terms of the NFL.
No, what this list is,
this guy put them both on there.
This is like losers, like we use the word loser. Yeah. Like this guy's a dork.
Guys, you hate him. All right, give us a list.
Yeah, so number 1, again, no order, Mason Crosby, Matt Ryan, Bills Mafia, Jalen Mills, Nick Sirianni, New York Yankees.
Okay. I like this. This is a great list. I like this kid.
Jalen Mills.
Twice?
Yeah.
This is enough of a connection for me.
I quote, Schittsburg Steelers, end quote.
Roasted.
Roughing the passer rule, and Kevin King.
I mean, that's it.
This is a remarkably good list.
That's an incredible list.
Landon Bromley.
I'm also shocked that we haven't had this as a segment before. Yeah, top 10 losers in the NFL.
But the fact that Nick Sirianni and Matt Ryan both made this list, and you had 20% of it was filled by Jalen Mills.
The Yankees.
30% of it was filled by Jalen Mills and a baseball team.
Yeah.
And he still got Nick Sirianni. I think that's enough of a connection.
This is working for me.
Like if Matt Ryan goes and has an interview with the Eagles, Nick Sirianni, he should bring it up and be like, "Hey, you see that? What's his name?
Landon Bromley.
Do you see Landon Bromley?
Yeah.
Landon Bromley's list?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did. We're two of the biggest losers in the NFL.
We're Bromley survivors. That's a bond that's forged in fire. And I do think
Steelers. That's
I think that
good.
Matt Ryan would look definitely at home in an Eagles uniform, and that Kelly Green.
I'm just throwing out. It's just fun to think about these things. I'm just like he's clearly not dead. He's not done, but the Falcons are not in a place where he should be their quarterback next year. You know what I mean? So where, like, similar to a Phil Rivers, similar to the end of the career of Brett Favre, or like one of these guys, like, hey, where can he go that maybe he can have 1 or 2 more years, that a team that feels like they're a competent quarterback away from being decent, the Eagles definitely fit that bill. Although, again, I don't know what they're doing with Jalen Hurts because he's shown flashes.
Matt Ryan would be such a good fit in Philadelphia, I think, because he's just at that age where he's, obviously super sackable.
Yep.
Probably liable to get a shoulder sprain, and then let Gardner Minshew come in for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
Light the world on fire, then go back.
Yeah, or have Jalen Hurts. Like Matt Ryan and Jalen Hurts can split snaps. You could do a little change of pace so you don't have to put any more miles on him. That actually would be, yeah, there we go. We figured out the Eagles for you. We just did their job. Shout out Eagles fans. Got a lot of Eagles fans tweeting me last week because we mentioned that Jalen Reagor was drafted the pick before Justin Jefferson. Just so you know, it's not all that bad. Justin Jefferson, what do you have today? 198 yards?
Something like that, yeah.
He had 100.
But he also lost to the Lions.
Oh, no, 182 yards.
Okay.
So Jalen Reagor, what? He had 175 yards less? That's not that bad.
That's not too bad.
Well, yeah, he had one catch for 7 yards.
You won.
Yeah.
You beat the Jets. You didn't lose to the Lions.
And also,
that's pretty good.
He had 1 target, 1 catch. So that's 100%.
100% catch rate.
100%.
Is Randy Moss taking his calls?
I don't know. I do feel bad. Eagles. I got a lot of Eagles fans hitting me up. They're like, "Yeah, that's the first thing I think about every single morning." All right. Before we get to the next one, PFT, you got a quick word from our sponsor.
Yes, our great sponsor, our good friends actually over at DatChat. We love DatChat. I use DatChat. Got it on my phone right now. You can download DatChat for iPhone and Android in the app stores, or you can go to datchat.com/barstool, get more info, and download it right now. What is DatChat? Well, DatChat is an awesome new social networking and messaging app that a bunch of us here at Barstool are now using. It's a great place for us to interact with our fans, comment, like messages, and chat with Barstool Sports talent. You can talk about the biggest sports games on TV. You can talk about Bachelor with Cutting Stems. You can talk about pop culture with Chicks in the Office. You can talk about conspiracy theories with macrodosing. I know Billy's on DatChat a lot. I think Billy said last week, he's on it literally right now.
On it right now.
Billy last week said, I low-key love DatChat.
Love
That's straight. That's a direct quote from Billy Football. We love using DatChat. You can check it out right now by downloading it for iPhone or Android in the app stores right now, or you can go to datchat.com/barstool to get more info and download DatChat.
Okay, next up, Cardinals Bears. I really don't even want to talk about this game. I have a few quick notes, and then you can just add whatever. But the Bears suck. The Cardinals are good. Andy Dalton's still a nice guy, even though his receivers didn't help him, but he also sucks. And I want to kill myself every single time Matt Nagy does a post-game press conference saying we got to find the whys. Also, the highlight of this game was that fan in the 400 level who was in just an all-time fight with his poncho and couldn't find the hole, which, if that's ever happened to you, it feels like you're dying and you can't get out. So I think he's okay, but also if he's not, at least he doesn't have to watch the Bears for the rest of the season.
Getting lost in your shirt is something that I could actually see Matt Nagy doing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I could see Matt Nagy actually suffocating trying to put on a sweater.
I'm just this. It's whatever. Next week, for anyone who wants me to be truly sad, next week I think we're going to try to get our shit together and we're going to tape the show while we watch Bears Packers. So you'll get instant reaction of just that's a war crime from the NFL on all of Chicago. That really is. It is a war crime. They didn't flex that out.
It's not a war crime on Chicago. It's a war crime on
Put them in the Hague.
On the entire country.
Yeah.
For having to watch the Bears in primetime.
No, I think the NFL knows exactly what they're doing because they're like, okay, well, it could be a competitive game. That would be cool for ratings. And if it's not, the Bears and Fire Nagy will be trending for 4 hours and everyone will be talking about us on Twitter.
Aaron Rodgers is going to do some new mean thing to you.
It's gonna, and you're going to hear it live on this show.
You know what? Aaron Rodgers is probably going to have something written on his undershirt. You know how football players do that sometimes when they score a touchdown?
You mean football?
And they lift it up?
Yeah.
No, and I've seen it a few times. And he's going to have, like, fuck Big Cat written on his stomach. And he's going to lift his shirt up, and it's going to be an all-time.
It's a war crime. The schedules are committing war crime. The schedules are committing war crimes.
It's like a 1% chance that Aaron Rodgers actually has a direct message to you written on his body. Like, he's probably going to have a cartoon of him butt fucking you. He's going to have a tattoo, and his belly button's going to be your butthole. And it's going to be Aaron Rodgers just having his way with you.
The Bears
That's
suck.
what I'm hoping for.
The Bears suck.
Just for the podcast.
Listen, the Bears are not worth time talking about because Matt Nagy told you everything he needs to tell everyone with this chicken shit football at the end of the half. The Bears were running the ball well today. 4 yards a carry. David Montgomery's awesome. And they did the old 50-yard line, try to get him offside, get a penalty, and then punt. You fucking loser.
I love
you guys
that.
are losers. Matt Nagy, you're a fucking loser.
When the most aggressive play call that you have during a game is a fake snap to try to draw another team offside.
They do it all the time. They're
It's
just
so funny.
chicken
And
shit.
Matt Nagy was so wet today. He was the wettest coach. He's overtaken Mike Vrabel as being the most depressed, wet coach in the NFL. Did you see him?
Yeah.
That's really hard to do, to become the wettest coach when you don't have any hair.
Yeah. He had a hat on. He had his little hat on. He
was just a glossy little soggy boy.
Here, I'll say something nice about Matt Nagy. Here we go. He actually looks like he's wearing the losses because he looks very bad, and it's like gotten worse and worse. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that he is owning part of the blame. And you know what? Let's just keep searching for the whys, guys. All right, let's find those whys. That might be the most annoying coach speech. He does it all the time. We got to find the whys. We got to find the whys. The whys is you fucking suck, and your team sucks because you suck.
I think Matt Nagy watches precisely one of those TED Talks a week, but he completely fails to grasp the meaning of it. But he reads as he's watching it and totally tuning out, thinking about how he's going to fuck up the next game plan. He does manage to read the headline, like the title of the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And then he tries to translate that into a message, and everyone's like, oh, God, here comes Matt on one of his weird shit things again.
He watches Gary Vee right before he comes out and gives his press conference.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, all right, could you imagine imagine for a second you kill the entire ability to pass in a football game. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
It makes me feel good.
Before every game, I close my eyes and I picture that all of you are dead.
Yeah.
And then I try to figure out how I'm going to win a game with no players.
Coach.
And that's why I call plays that are just fake snaps.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine the entire defense has self-combusted and we're playing against air and we still take a too many men on the field or delay a game penalty. All right. That's enough.
There was another part that I thought was pretty funny. Well, this is more of an after the game thing. The Cardinals tweeted out the picture of the bean in Chicago.
Yeah.
But it was just a vibrator.
Well, and it was an L.
It was an L, but
and the subway system is the L.
Yeah, but
you could have just, that was a Clantonio Brown moment for them.
Yes, but it was just a vibrator.
Yeah.
Like that's all it was. It was the silver bullet, and it was graphic, but I don't think that no one on the cards,
they failed.
They didn't know what they were doing.
I can't even say anything because we suck and they're good and the Cardinals are good. The Cardinals are a legitimate Super Bowl contending team.
I'll say that Andy Dalton has moved back into the pantheon of quarterbacks. Can I say pantheon or is that trademark?
No, go for it.
Okay, but into the pantheon, in the pyramid level of quarterbacks that when they throw the ball, you just immediately tense up. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like this is going to be bad. A bad thing is about to happen when the ball's in the air.
And
that's such a painful thing to have if it's your team that you're watching. Because there are two kinds of quarterbacks. There's a quarterback where it's like, God damn it, this is going to be bad when they release the ball. And then there's a quarterback where they throw a pass and you're excited about it.
You're like, this is going to be a touchdown. No, and he does it even, the worst part is he does it with confidence. Like he will like plant his feet, throw. He had a play action pass where it was like, boom, boom, on time, throws the ball. Oh, there's 6 Cardinals around. Like, what is going on? So, whatever. All right, let's move on.
Also, Cliff Kingsbury pulled a very smart move today. He claimed that he ran into Fotu. I think that's their defensive tackle.
Yeah.
Fotu, he claimed he ran into his helmet, and that's why he had a bloody lip after the game. That's a herp, Cliff.
That's smart.
That's a herp. We know
very
that's a
smart.
herp.
That's very, very
Pro
smart.
move.
Yeah, Schefter will tweet it out for you that you actually needed reconstructive surgery or something.
No, Schefter
while you were negotiating your contract with Oklahoma, even though they hired Brent Venables.
Schefter will do a HIPAA violation on you and be like, "Yep, Cliff Kingsbury just received a 6-month prescription for Valtrex."
Shout out that one guy, by the way, when I was clowning Schefter for his report that Cliff Kingsbury was talking to Oklahoma, who was like, "If you're wrong about this, will you retract?" No, because I was never going to be wrong about this. Cliff Kingsbury was never going to get hired by Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. That was the most you could see through that tweet from a mile away.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think that Oklahoma would want Cliff Kingsbury.
He wasn't a good college coach.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't good in the Big 12. They played each other all the time.
He had Patrick Mahomes.
They got to see Cliff Kingsbury coach up close all the time.
And he's coaching well this year, and I can't say anything bad about the Cardinals because they are a very good team, and Kyler's back. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on because I'm already mad that we spent this much time talking about the Bears. They're so not worth it. All right, Colts Texans. Oh, what a game.
All right, so this is very funny to me because, well, first of all, the first time these two teams played this year was 31-3.
Yep.
Now it's 31-0.
So they're regressing.
So they're regressing a little bit. They've lost 3 points of offense. But I was trying to do some research on this game afterwards because there's not a lot to talk about.
No.
It was just this.
I've done some as well.
This was a whooping.
Yep.
Another whooping that the Colts put on the Texans. And I was looking at the different articles that were being written from the Texans media because if you're the Texans, what do you have to write about at this point? Thoughts and prayers to those guys. This is like garbage time. You guys are getting blown out, and you've got some sad punts of your own. So I found a sad punt of an article from the Houston Texans.
Okay.
Trying to find the silver lining in anything. Here's a list of 4 teams that would be better if they had the Houston Texans defense.
Ooh.
So they're just being like, hypothetically, our defense isn't god-awful.
Right.
Like, they're pretty bad, but they're better than some teams. So they started to list the reasons why they were good, and they said that the Texans even got a fumble recovery against the Colts despite the loss today. Great job.
They did.
They said Houston entered the league with the 8th most tackles for loss with 55. So they have 55 tackles for losses.
That's huge.
But they still do give up 4.5 yards per carry, which is one of the most in the NFL. But it just so happens they play against a bunch of teams that are heavily running the ball because they're kicking the shit out of the Texans in the second half. So you can get a 1-yard loss here and there. So they made a list. They said 4 defenses that would be better if they had the Texans defense. They said the Falcons would be a better team if they had the defense. The Jets would be a better team.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But
Probably not.
You're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. And then they had the Seahawks and
no, definitely not.
Definitely
the
not.
Seahawks defense is actually playing a lot better.
And then they had the Bengals defense.
Also not true. Not even close.
But I appreciate the effort coming from the Houston media to try to find some.
That's nice.
This is a sad punt of a column, and I really respect it.
It was bad. So I was also doing some research. So Davis Mills and Tyrod Taylor both played in this game. They basically had identical stat lines. One was 6 for 14 for 49 yards. The other was 5 for 13 for 45 yards. Mm-hmm. The Colts could have beaten the Texans. I actually truly believe this if they had just said, we're not going to pass the ball once today, because the Texans had 9 first downs in this game for 141 yards. Jonathan Taylor had 9 first downs for 143 yards. He outgained the entire Texans team. And I just have to finish with this. And the Colts are like the good teams, or good team. Yeah, I'm going to say the Colts are a good team. Kill bad teams, and that's what they did. The Texans' first 5 drives, they went interception, fumble, 3 and out, 3 and out. Then they had an incredible drive that was 9 plays, 2 first downs, but 8 total yards. Do the math on that. It's pretty hard to do.
The Texans definitely lead the league in hilarious drives. I think we talked about a couple of them last week that were like 9-minute drives for 30 yards or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was so bad. And then they finished with a 3 and out. That was their entire first half. Just a terrible, terrible team. This is one of those teams where, like, I think the Lions, even though the Texans have 2 wins, I think the Lions are a better team.
Yeah. Neutral field.
Yeah.
I think the Lions would be favored.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so that's that game. Let's keep
there
it moving.
There should be bowls in the NFL.
I would like to see that.
How cool would that be?
Well, they wouldn't be bowl eligible.
No, but every team should be bowl eligible.
Okay, everyone
there
should be bowl
one.
eligible.
I guess what I'm describing is another week of football.
Did you see
there should be an 18-game season, is what I'm saying.
They added a bowl because there were too many teams that were bowl eligible.
Yeah, Hawaii?
Yeah, because the new rule is it's not. It used to be 500. Now it's if you just get 6 wins. So you can be 6 and 7. Hawaii was 6 and 7, so they added a bowl.
Turns out there's no limit on how many bowls.
love it.
You can just invent football games and teams will show up for it.
Shout out the Arizona Bowl.
Yep.
Boise State versus Central Michigan. It's going to be a fucking awesome game.
We'll be there.
All right, let's talk about your team, Washington football team.
Yes.
By the way, Jake, Scoregami. It's not a scoregami, but the Washington football team has now won back-to-back weeks, 17-15.
That's awesome.
That's more of a wow. That's wild.
And
that's Carmelo Anthony wild.
If the Broncos converted the last 2-point conversion, 22-11 would have been.
No, we don't play the what ifs.
Don't steal this from Washington football team.
We don't play the what ifs.
Oh, it would have been a scoregami or something. Oh, okay.
No, in the Sunday night.
I know, but I don't like doing what ifs when it comes to scoregami. You're either scoregami or you're not. It's like
we gotta respect it.
You can't be partially pregnant. Like, oh, I almost got nutted in.
But Washington football team 17-15. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was a little bit graphic, but you got.
Yeah, that was.
I had a point. I had a
Par
point
for the
to
course
make in this one.
Yeah.
I think I got it across.
Yeah, you got it.
So yeah, fuck that coin. That's my statement for today's game. Fuck that stupid Raiders coin.
Yep.
The hat right here is 4-0.
Incredible.
The hat is better than any fucking coin you can bring in front of my face. The Washington football team is in the offs. Not only are we in the offs if the season ended today, we wouldn't even be the 7th seed.
Wow.
We're now the 6th seed. We've got some daylight between us and being out of the offs.
They're a good team.
They're a good team. They've got some issues at times. Taylor Heineke had some incredible plays today. He had a bad interception, but his hand was hit on that.
He also, the Raiders very much should have intercepted that pass at the end of the game. That was a terrible, terrible pass. But that doesn't matter because you can't play the what-if game. And the Washington football team, the thing I like about watching the Washington football team, they have like a very distinct identity. It's essentially run the ball, let Taylor Heineke do some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, no, we're gonna suck the clock down.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We take the clock in the second half and we go on these crazy long drives and we just frustrate the hell out of you because you don't have the ball in your hands and you can't stop us on third down. I forget what the stat that they showed at the end of the game, but I think it was like 7 or 8 out of 11 on third downs today. Pretty good. That
good.
Tells me that you're, first of all, getting to third down, which means you're not getting – we don't get first downs too quickly.
Right.
We don't get too far ahead of the chains. That's what the Chiefs' problem was. We use every down. We're like the Native Americans with the buffalo.
Yes.
And we suck the clock down, and it's very frustrating to play against us. And, yeah, sorry about the PI no call on Zay Jones at the end of the game.
Don't apologize.
But you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it.
I'm
not going to apologize for it. As Jerry Jones said when the Cowboys played against the Raiders on Thanksgiving, we don't want to be playing throw-up ball out there where you just throw the ball up and get pass interferences.
Here's what the Washington football team is. And every year we get 1 or 2 of these teams in the NFL. They are the team that everyone looks at and they're like, this is bullshit. They're not good. But at the end of the day, they make enough plays and they play enough complimentary football that they are good, and you can complain about it all you want. You can cry about it online and be like, this team's not good. It's bullshit. Mm-hmm. Guess what? They're good in the fact that they know how to like make enough plays to win a game. They're like the reverse Vikings. They don't have any of that sizzle, although Terry McLaurin's awesome, but they do enough to win games, and they might be ugly. A lot of their wins are ugly, but it doesn't fucking matter because a win's a win.
Yep.
You know what I mean, though? Like, there's always those teams where they're the teams that everyone online will just be so angry at because they're like, it's so frustrating to watch them because they shouldn't be winning this game. Well, guess what? They're winning the game.
I would put them and the Dolphins both in that same category, but guess what? I actually think that the Washington football team and the Dolphins are good now. I think that they're like the way that the football team's playing right now, they're playing extremely hard. Like the effort that they're putting out there it's noticeable that they're out there, like especially on defense compared to where they were at the start of the year. Night and day difference between this team and that team. I think Chase Young, I think they're better without him on the field right now.
Yeah.
Now, I think Chase Young's going to come back next year, and he's going to be awesome because he's going to see how this team's playing right now without him and realize that, oh, yeah, I guess I am kind of replaceable if I don't really get out there and do my assignment and stop freelancing a little bit. I think he's going to be much better next year. Montez Sweat's coming back. We're going to add him to the puzzle.
Yep.
I'm very excited about this team. We want Dallas. We got Dallas next week.
Should have been the Sunday Night Football game.
Should have been the Sunday Night Football game. Wish you could take that one back, Roger Goodell. Actually, no.
War crimes.
I'm glad because prime time, not a good recipe.
Do you know what I mean about like those teams that are frustrating to watch, or people get frustrated watching them and they just can't accept the fact that maybe they're good by the fact that they just figure out ways to win games. Like if you added the Washington football team's ability to win games with the Vikings like sizzle and wow factor, they'd be a Super Bowl team. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like there's just some teams that know how to win games and win games ugly. That is Washington football team. You can fight it. You can be the person complaining online and getting angry about it, or you can do what I've been doing and just betting on them because they're just winning games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's been fun.
Now, the problem is going to be we don't have Logan Thomas anymore because he
that
got taken
does-
out his
that does
ACL on a borderline dirty play. Not going to complain about it, but it was a dirty play.
Borderline.
It was borderline dirty. It was borderline extremely dirty play.
Oh, okay.
And so he's out for the season. So now we don't really have a tight end. We've got Bates, who's not bad. Then we got Samus Reyes, the guy from Chile who hasn't played football until like 2 weeks ago.
What about Seals
in his
Jones?
life. Seals Jones, I don't know if Seals Jones is still around. I don't think that I think he got hurt.
Okay.
But Greg
You guys
Olsen,
will find someone.
Greg Olsen used to play tight end for Ron Rivera. Greg Olsen responded to my tweet with a gif of an old guy warming up.
Ah.
So I don't know.
Could be
I don't know
in
who,
the cards.
I also still think that Antonio Gates could just step out of the woodwork and still
You should take Jimmy Graham.
catch like 5 touchdowns. I'll take Jimmy.
Jimmy Graham had 1 catch for 1 target, 1 catch, 1 touchdown.
There you go.
1 yard.
I like it. I would.
Efficiency.
We probably need to get somebody else at tight end, but again, we want Dallas.
You're gonna find.
I think that we can beat the Cowboys, and it's going to be like last year when we beat the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, where that's the start. That's where you know that the team is real.
No, I absolutely think you can beat Dallas because guess what? You're going to muck it up, and Dak's going to look off,
Yep.
and we're going to be in the fourth quarter, and it will be like a 3-point or 4-point game one way or the other. And you say, how are the Washington football team in this game? Well, because they just grind shit out. They just grind. They're grit and grind Grizzlies
Absolutely.
in football form.
That's a team that I love to root for. This week is the first week where I am actually going to get mad at power rankings. So when I've seen a lot of power rankings out there that have the football team in like the mid-20s, early 20s,
Get 'em.
low 20s, and I've largely agreed with that because I haven't really thought that the team is like legit. Now if I see the football team in your 20s, I'm coming at you. Fair
Get their
warning.
ass.
Fair warning to any power rankings contributors on the internet. I know that you are one of those. But,
they're
they're
not
500 now.
Yeah, they're 500, and I think in my last one they were number 2.
Yeah.
So
if
I had them high.
Just anyone out there that sees the football team, if it's number 20 or higher, let me know. Tag me into that. I'm going to power bomb some fools.
That would be crazy if they were. I mean, those are the haters I'm talking about who can't just admit when a team does just enough to win games, and that counts for something.
There was a moment at the end of that game where I was certain that Deshaun Jackson was about to do something that was going to piss me off.
Yeah.
It just felt like if you saw
Yeah, that
Deshaun
look on
Jackson
his
in the
face,
first half,
yeah.
he was like, I'm going to get in for like 3 plays, and on one of those plays, I'm going to score an 80-yard touchdown. And then he almost did.
He did. All right. Let's go to Rams-Jags. We'll do this one quick. Matt Stafford played against a bad team, so Matt Stafford lit them up. Say something nice about Urban Meyer. The Rose Bowl is your bowl this year because it's Utah versus Ohio State, so that's nice.
That's nice. Also, shout out to Urban Meyer for making it really easy for his team to fire him. Because
there's no confusion.
There's no confusion.
None.
No one's gonna even have. You're not gonna spend a second worrying about whether or not you're going to return next year because of that punt that you had.
Well, not only that, but he throws in the extra sauce of like they're not only bad, but their star number 1 pick who was supposed to be can't miss has not progressed.
Yeah, and
so
also,
it's like, we can't even find silver linings in this.
No, there's really not. They peaked too early this season.
Yeah, they punted down like 20 or I don't even know what the final score was.
They were down 30 points in the fourth quarter, and they punted from midfield.
Got to do it.
It was, I mean, thank you, Urban Meyer, for just like removing any shadow of any sort of doubt. They peaked too early. They peaked with their 9-6 beatdown of the Buffalo Bills.
That's a head
on November
scratcher.
7th. That's crazy to think. Like a month ago, the Jaguars beat the Bills 9-6 somehow.
That goes down like the Texans beating the Titans, the Saints beating the Packers and killing them. In that game, those are the 3 games that stick out. You're like, what the fuck happened there?
So yeah, I think that's what we were talking about right after that game. We said the danger for Urban Meyer is this is you proving that your players haven't given up on you, but it's a long season and you still have another 2 months for them to figure you the fuck out and get, and completely check out of whatever you're trying to get them to buy into.
They're done.
That's what's happened right now. So
Cooked.
After a 30-10 loss, a 21-14 loss to the Falcons, and then a 37-7 loss with a punt down 30 points in the fourth quarter. I don't even think it was like 4th and 15 or 4th and 20. I think it was like 4th and 8 or 4th and 10.
It was bad.
And they punted the ball down 30 points.
And you know what? I'm looking at it right now. They still have the Texans and the Jets on their schedule, so there will be one more win in there. Just be wary. They'll win one more game.
Okay.
They'll win one more game.
They do get to. Oh my God!
The Patriots,
they get to travel to the Patriots on January 2nd.
Yeah, that spread. If the Patriots have any meaning in that game, like if they need to win that game, that spread cannot be big enough. Honestly,
no,
it can't because they will that Jaguars team going to New England on January 2nd, in a what should be Week 17, but now there's the end of the season, which is now not. That has to be the biggest quit spot of all time.
Urban Meyer's going to get a hypothermia on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Jake, can you put a reminder in?
That might be my game of the year.
Let's play January 2nd. I think it's valid.
Yes.
Wait, no,
I still
because
got another
it's calendar
game of the
year.
Yeah, I still got one more coming.
So Patriots, Jaguars, January 2nd, Jake. Let's play Whose Line Is Anyway right now on what that spread's going to be, and then remind us what we guessed it was. I'm going to guess it's going to be Patriots by 14.
I was going to say 16. 16.
10.5.
10.5? What do you...
Are you going to be resting your starters?
You think they're going to be resting this? Yeah.
Oh,
back up.
Really?
Yeah. You got the number 1 seed locked up by then?
Damn. Okay. I guess that's a possibility.
Isn't that the penultimate week, too? That's not the last week.
That is
the penultimate
Yep.
week.
Why does everybody love the word penultimate?
No,
my dad fucking loved the word penultimate.
I think people learn it and they're like, oh, that's a fucking fancy way of saying
I think
week from now.
If you go to like
2 weeks
broadcasting
left.
school, you hear somebody else say that's my favorite word, and then it becomes your favorite. They teach you that it's your favorite word.
Jake loves it.
He loves penultimate.
Okay. Before we get to the last 2 games, PFT, you had another word from our sponsor.
Yeah, I want to talk to you guys about Coors Light. I love Coors Light. I love the Beer Wolf. Have you guys seen the Beer Wolf merch?
Oh, yeah.
I rocked the Beer Wolf hat with the ears on it at the Pup Punk show. You've seen us wear the T-shirts. The Beer Wolf is back, baby. Coors Light is the chillest beer in the entire world. A little more chill in the air can only mean one thing. Beer Man is back in town. Beer Man, that's right. It's all part of Coors Light's holiday mission to bring the chill and make spirits bright. Beer Man is here to remind you that your chill is out there this holiday season, that you deserve a cold one. Make it a Coors Light. Gotta love Beer Man. The mountains are on the bottles and the cans, and they turn blue when your beer is cold. Put your beer outside. Hank always likes to say the best part about this time of year is you can leave your beer out on the porch. It's nature's refrigerator, and you bring it inside. The mountains are blue. When you need to hit reset, just open an ice-cold Coors Light. It's mountain cold refreshment. It's made to chill. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged. It's literally made to chill. It's as crisp and refreshing as the Rockies. Perfect for a moment to unwind. We love Coors Light here at Part of My Take. It's the only beer that I drink. I can't remember the last time I drank a non-Coors Light beer. And frankly, I don't want to remember the last time I drank a beer that wasn't a Coors Light. When you need to chill out this holiday season, reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Use Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/take. That's CoorsLight.com/take. And be on the lookout for Beer Man.
This is a sentence that people are going to make fun of me for, but I don't care. Jake, can you go grab my fanny pack? Because I need to get the Tums out of it because I have heartburn right now. Thank you. No, I got that late night. Oh, you treat your body like a fucking waste dump, and you lost your game of the year. Heartburn. Okay, we're back. Seahawks Niners. By the way, I just saw that like on my Twitter timeline, the Joe Brady news was popping up, and I was like, what the hell? This happened like 12 hours ago. Jameis 1 of 1 is just spamming every single reporter saying, had the Carolina Panthers signed Jameis Winston instead of Teddy Bridgewater in 2020, Joe Brady may have just received the Brian Kelly offer from LSU. Instead, he just got fired. He just responded to literally every single reporter with that.
I love it. I love it. He DM'd me the other day because I retweeted his Photoshop that he had of Jameis in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. And he was just like, hey, just curious, would you want to see Jameis play for the Steelers? Because I really would. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I appreciate your support always, man. He'll make the Hall of Fame one day.
He's something else. That Joe Brady like firing, that feels wrong. You made him coach Sam Darnold and then Cam Newton, and you're like, this guy can't coach offense. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't give him the worst and the second to worst quarterback. You can pick whoever I'm talking about there in the NFL to lead his offense.
I'm I still think that Joe Brady could be a good college head coach. I think he's probably getting offers or at least doing interviews. And so Matt Rule is like, get out of here. I'm
not giving up on him after. Like, dude, he had to coach Sam Darnold and Cam Newton.
Yeah.
No one can do that.
Yeah.
No one.
I think Joe Brady's going to get hired somewhere and probably be pretty good at the next place that he goes. He probably just fell in love with the idea that an NFL team wanted him after his big come up at LSU.
Yeah.
And he just took the first job that was offered. You got to be a little bit more selective, Joe.
Do you know what we just did? We just became Joe Brady one of ones.
We did.
Yeah, just like that. We're going to be walking around saying Joe Brady would be a fucking great coach.
Don't give up on Joe Brady. Joe Brady,
Bears coach.
Joe Brady's not. If your system doesn't work with Joe Brady, the problem is your system, not Joe Brady.
Yes, agreed. All right. Seahawks 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a fun stat. So when Russell Wilson broke his finger and got surgery, it was reported, it was October 8th, and it was reported that surgery would take 6 to 8 weeks to heal from.
Mm-hmm.
He came back in 5. He went 0-3, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in those 3 weeks, 55% completion percentage. Today, he threw 2 touchdowns. He went 30 for 37. He had a pick, but it actually should have been a touchdown. Like the receiver just threw it up.
Dropped it in the end zone.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Today also happens to be the 8th week from his surgery. Funny how that works.
That's really interesting.
Funny how that works, Russell Wilson.
You're really missing the point of the entire Russell Wilson comeback thing. He came back 3 weeks before anyone thought it would ever be possible. Right? You're not giving nearly enough credit to the medical miracle that is Russell Wilson. Instead, you're focusing on his performance when he came back.
It's so funny that we have like an exact perfect timeline of how Russell Wilson should have listened to his doctor, didn't, came back too early, sucked, and then the moment that it was, this is actually when your finger will be fully healed, he started playing good again.
Well, Russell Wilson has a doctor, but he also is a guy that will just talk to the next doctor if
Correct.
the first doctor doesn't tell him what he wants to hear. He's like, I have no problem going down the list until I get to Nick Riviera, who tells me that it's fine to come back, that it doesn't matter. You can play with the pins in your finger.
Russell Wilson, he definitely has like a junkyard Alex Guerrero in his posse who's like, he's the guy who just tells, the doctor said this. Oh, well, you know what? Let me massage that thing with some almond oil while you sleep. I'll literally stand over your bed and massage your finger, and you'll be back in 5 weeks.
It's Doctor of Divinity, Joel Osteen.
Crazy.
Jesus had pins in his fingers too, Russ.
Yeah, true. It's just so funny to me. It's ridiculous that it was to the 8th week to the moment that Russell Wilson finally looked like Russell Wilson again. Well, and he spent 3 weeks. Geno Smith probably doesn't win those games. Maybe he wins one of them. I don't know. Like, he was bad. He was really bad in those games. And this week he looked back to being Russ, like throwing it deep, throwing it quickly, making quick decisions. I don't know. It just kind of all makes sense. You should probably trust your doctor.
I love that his first pass of the game was to DK to prove his point, to be like, we're going to get you involved. We're going to get you involved somehow today, DK. And he wasn't as big a part of the game plan as I think that he needs to be, because he's your best receiver. You should still find a way to find him downfield as often as possible. And instead, they were looking for, what's his name, Eskridge.
Tyler Lockett might be his best receiver.
Tyler Lockett's good. Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty damn good, and he always seems to be like in the right spot. But
it was an I'm sorry throw at the beginning of the game. He was Russell definitely went to the coordinator and was like, I'm hearing what people are saying about me and DK. Can we just get him the ball? Just the first play of the game. I don't care what happens after that, but we just want DK to know that I want him to be bought in today.
Yes. And, I mean, you could see it in the throws that he was making. He had a deep throw to Tyler Lockett that wasn't a completion, but it was one of those passes that was like, Russell Wilson is on the very short list of guys who can make that pass. Like a perfect pass in double coverage, moonshot to the end zone that went off Tyler Lockett's hands. And you're like, okay, Russell Wilson probably is feeling good again. He's probably back.
That was the double pass.
The
lateral to DK, who threw it back across the field to Russ, and then he threw an absolute dime.
It was
like
perfect.
50 yards right to the corner. And it hit off his hands. Also, stop me if you've heard this before, Pete Carroll absolutely hates running the ball inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Absolutely hates it.
Chaos in this game.
At least it's consistent.
Yes. So this game, this was a fun game to watch. Like it was up and down. The Niners, Jimmy G, I think we all know who Jimmy G is. Like if the Niners can't run the ball effectively, Jimmy G gets a little bit of exposed. They couldn't really run the ball effectively or how they have been running the ball. And so he got exposed. Yeah, they had no Debo, their best running back / wide receiver. Our friend George Kittle is a fucking monster and so much fun to watch. He had 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dude, he was awesome.
He finishes runs like he's a linebacker sometimes. Like he's falling down in the process, and he'll still make the tackle on the guy that's trying to tackle him. I feel like that's how his mentality works, where he's like, if I'm going to get tackled, guess what? I'm actually going to tackle you.
Yeah.
You're going to hit the ground before I do.
I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Yes. And Russ is 17-4 career versus the Niners, so he owns them. He does. He fully owns them. It was a fun game to watch, but he owns them. Whatever the Niners were building, this was like such a perfect moment too for the NFC West, where it's like, I think it's probably, in terms of like teams you don't want to face, it's probably the best division. You maybe say the AFC North, but like all 4 teams can win any game at any point. But this was the game that weirdly, like, not eliminated, but like it really hurt the Niners' chance. And the Seahawks are already kind of behind the 8 ball. So the division that we thought was going to have 4 teams will probably only have 2 because of this game. And the Niners just got, I didn't realize it, but they got swept by the Cardinals and the Seahawks now. So that, I don't know, they make no sense.
Niners just own the Rams.
Yeah.
Shanahan just straight up owns McVay. That's what that boils down to.
And Pete Carroll owns Shanahan.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect, you can totally figure out the NFC West at any time with like Russell Wilson owns the 49ers and the 49ers own the Rams.
The Seahawks are, in fact, in win-now mode. As Ian Rappaport put it, Adrian Peterson got a touchdown. So that's why they signed him, because they have to win now. And I'm sure he looked bad today.
Adrian Peterson, you think? 11 for 16 yards.
He looked pretty bad. But
let me just say that again. Yeah. 11 rushes for 16 yards.
It's crazy.
And a touchdown.
It's crazy that he got the ball 11 times when you have Penny on your team. It's absolutely nuts. And then what I love about just Adrian Peterson bouncing around the league right now and getting signed by multiple teams is it proves that general managers approach the game the exact same way that me and you do.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, we remember like the year 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and we're like, Adrian Peterson is the best running back I've ever seen in my life. They've probably sat around their computers watching that Adrian Peterson high school mixtape of all of his highlight runs that he had, where he's just making 18-year-olds look like they're 3 and running through people's faces and cutting back across the field. And they still think to themselves, Adrian Peterson is a once-in-a-generation type athlete. We should sign him. Why not? Why not? He's still good.
Dude.
But they're not. It turns out that football guys in the NFL are really not that much smarter than me and you sometimes.
No. I remember it was like maybe 2015, 2016 when I drafted Andre Johnson on my fantasy football team when he was on the Titans. And I was like, this is a steal.
Yeah.
This guy, he's one of the best of all time.
Dude, Tavon Austin is right now. He's been living that for the last 3 years, where people just remember what he was like in high school with that mixtape that he had.
Yeah.
What he was like in college at West Virginia. And then what he was doing like his first, when he got that contract extension on Hard Knocks.
There are some names that will just
stick around
forever. You'll be like, yeah, put him in. He'll be good. Adrian Peterson is that name.
I think I just did that with Antonio Gates earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring him back.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'm dumb. I'm very dumb, but Antonio Gates could still do it.
So, yeah, the Seahawks are in no man's land. They're 4-8. They would have to run the table, I would imagine, to make the playoffs. And the 49ers right now are the 7th seed. So, but I can't make sense of the 49ers either, because they haven't beaten – they beat the Rams on Monday Night Football. They passed the test of get a big Monday Night Football win and we'll start thinking that you're really good, because their other wins are against really bad teams. Like they beat the Jaguars, the Lions, and the Bears. Okay,
so they're going to play games against the Falcons and the Texans. I would pencil those in as wins, right?
Are you talking about the 49ers?
The 49ers. Yes. The Falcons.
And the Bengals the Bengals next week might be a loser leaves town game.
Yeah, I think it is. So besides the Falcons and the Texans, which I have in my record book as wins for the Niners, they have the Bengals, the Titans, and the Rams.
And they own the Rams.
So they could get 3 wins out of there, end up at 9-8.
And the team no one wants to play in the playoffs.
And the team no one wants to play in the playoffs. Don't look now.
Yep. I would definitely buy stock in the 49ers just because you can convince yourself that they can just run it down anyone's throat.
Yep.
Okay, last game. Steelers-Ravens. Big Ben. It was reported.
Mystery source.
So mystery source. Adam Schefter reported Ben Roethlisberger privately has told former teammates and some within the organization that he expects this to be his final season playing quarterback for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Big Ben has been doing this privately, not publicly with his play that we all can see with our eyeballs.
No.
But privately, he's been telling everyone. And that report came out on Saturday. We are now in win one for Ben mode, and we saw it today where they beat the Ravens, come back in the second half, and he like 2 legitimately awesome touchdown drives for Big Ben. I don't want him to go. I want them to do just enough that he's like one more year, Big Ben.
You have to let him come back if Big Ben wants to come back. After everything he's done for that city, you have to let Big Ben back. And again, we want to reiterate this: these were private conversations that Ben did not want to get out.
We don't know how it got
And so
out.
there's a breach of trust Big Ben has in his inner circle, and Big Ben's only crime is that he trusts those close to him too much with sensitive information sometimes.
Yes.
So this was not.
Don't trust the media.
As a matter of fact, we should delete this from our podcast because
It's private.
I don't want to pass along. It's like submitting stolen work papers into court. You're not allowed to do that, right? We should not be talking about what Ben talks about behind closed. That's none of our business.
What do you think the reaction was when Big Ben had this private conversation? Mm-hmm. Again, very private, with people in the organization and close friends. Do you think it was like when you find out that someone's throwing a surprise birthday party for you and you have to fake it, but really you can never fake the true surprise? Do you think people were like, Big Ben walks up and says, "Hey, I'm thinking about retiring," like, oh, why? Why? Mm-hmm. Everything's going well.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, you had to.
You have to fake it.
You have to be polite. He was waiting for. He was
really,
waiting for somebody to go. Oh no, Ben, don't. You don't have to.
You
do
look
that.
good.
And Ben's like, "Are you sure?
Yeah.
I shouldn't." He wanted to be talked back into staying.
Sounding board.
That's what he was doing. He was trying to be talked back into staying. He did say though that he's done playing quarterback for the Steelers. So I see 2 outs in that situation. He could convert to tight end.
Yep.
He could convert
offensive tackle. They need offensive linemen.
He could convert to team doctor.
Yep.
Been running out there and diagnose. He's had every injury. He can spot it on somebody else, or playing for a team that's not the Steelers. In which case, I have to imagine teams would be lining up for Big Ben at this point.
Would be so fucking awesome.
It would. I think it'd be very sad to see Big Ben and not a Steelers uniform.
If you're the Steelers and you obviously like Big Ben is a legend, why not just be like, hey Ben, like we'll just make the backup quarterback position your position for the next 20 years. Mm-hmm. So like once or twice a year you got to come in. You're not gonna have to play much. It's almost like an honorary position, like it's in emeritus. You're the quarterback in emeritus. You'll be there. You'll be a 3rd string quarterback, and you can come to the facility because we know you want to. You can even fake an injury if you want to. And then like once or twice a year, we can just be like, hey, go on out there. Have fun.
Yeah, maybe make him 3rd string and also have him sit up in the booth and put a headset on, and he gets to call the plays.
That works too.
But he's definitely not a quarterback coach or a coordinator. He's the 3rd string quarterback, if anybody's asking. Yep. It would be very funny, though, to see Big Ben as the 3rd string quarterback, but still listed weekly on the injury report.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
With a different injury every single week.
It'd be awesome. And you know what? He played well today. He really did. Like, he played well.
He did.
He had big drives. They were making plays. They were able to run the ball, which like they haven't been able to do forever. Against a Ravens defense that the Ravens are kind of screwed because they're not only not playing well, but Marlon Humphrey, I think, is out for the year now, which their defense is going to suffer even more.
Ben, he also ran play action today. Did you see that?
Yeah. And a little, I don't think it was a scripted QB draw, but like he just kind of ran it up the middle because he panicked.
He forgot to play.
Yeah,
and ran
went really slowly. But yeah, the Ravens are in trouble. They are not playing well.
Yeah,
like they just aren't.
I know. I like the play call at the end though. I like Harbaugh going for 2.
I hated it.
No, because he said that they lost their corners. They were down. They were so banged up that they didn't feel like they could stop the Steelers on defense. So you got a dynamic offense that can get 2 yards, that should be able to get 2 yards, and Lamar Jackson had him for 2 yards, and Andrews just dropped the 2-point conversion.
See, to me, it doesn't make sense because you have Justin Tucker. So, like, Justin Tucker, like, if you can get a stop at any point overtime, or you get the ball first and you just kick the field goal, obviously it doesn't end it.
They didn't think they could get a stop, though, because they didn't have the guys to do it.
I mean, the Steelers weren't, like, they were playing well offensively, but Justin Tucker is just the great equalizer where it's like we can kick a field goal at any point. Yeah, it was I mean, Lamar missed the throw. Like, Mark Andrews, like, that, he was open.
You touch it, you can catch it.
You could, if you touch it, no, but
they pay these guys a lot of money, Hank.
Lamar missed that throw. That's a throw he misses, those short throws.
Hank.
I did love.
Back me up, Hank.
If you can touch it, you can catch it. I did love Tomlin afterwards saying, he knew that it was coming because, quote, they aggressively play analytics, so from that standpoint, they're predictable. Talking about the Ravens, they're so predictable that the Steelers needed to use a timeout because they sent out their field goal block team, and then also the play was like they just didn't cover the tight end, and Lamar Jackson missed it. But other than that, all that aside, they knew that was coming.
It's kind of a good point that Tomlin makes, though. Like, if you play everything by the book, then somebody else can just read the book and know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
It's like when a coach is stupid enough to be reckless, that's what makes them really dangerous.
Yes.
Kind of like Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
But when you play the book too close to the percentages, then it's really easy to figure out what you're up to.
He knows
and
it.
you can get a guy that knows math, too, on your side.
Yep.
I did like Tomlin's quote after the game talking about Big Ben. He said that I just thought it was funny how that became a major storyline about Big Ben wanting to retire, because Tomlin knows Big Ben so much better than any of us do.
Yes.
And he knows what Big Ben's like, and he's like laughing when he's seen that story about Big Ben having private conversations with people that he trusts.
He privately had a conversation with Adam Schefter,
Yeah.
and Ian Rappaport.
And Tomlin's like, I just think that it's funny how that became the narrative out of nowhere going. Is it Big Ben to like Mike Tomlin? It's like if you have a dog that's just a rascal, but you still love him.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that you're going to get your nose into the treats. And it's funny. You're gonna you're gonna walk away with like 6 tennis balls in your mouth after I tried to lock them away in the shed.
Yeah.
I still love you, but you know you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. And Big Ben, like, he probably called Adam Schefter and was like, hey, just want to double check this is on the record, right? Like, he reverses it.
Yeah.
And then he says, I'm thinking about retiring. Float that out there. Oh, no, don't do it. I did appreciate, though, like, Steelers fans showed the correct amount of remorse, because I think it's tough. You're in a tough spot. He's not good. He's not like he's holding the team back, but he is also a legend, so you can't be like, oh, good, he's gone. Like, you have to show, like, oh, this is sad.
Did you see that compilation of Big Ben extending plays?
Yeah.
NFL Throwback put it out the other day. It's amazing to watch because he looks, so much less mobile now than he was back, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even 7 years ago, 6 years ago. And it's incredible to watch. Like, he's just shrugging people off his shoulders. He'll shrug like 3 defensive tackles, and then he'll throw a pass like 70 yards on a dime. It was amazing to watch him.
There was probably a decade-long period where whenever anyone would ask me the question, like, who would you take in a 2-minute offense need to score a touchdown? And this is during Peyton Manning and Drew Brees and Tom Brady's prime. I would say Big Ben, because that was how like insane he was when it was a pressure moment and the rush was coming, and he would just shed people like he was a fucking Avenger. It was insane. It's gonna be sad. The only other thing I had from this game is TJ Watt is Defensive Player of the Year, and I know there's a lot of guys out there that could probably win it. He had 3.5 sacks today. He had 12 pressures, which is fucking insane. TJ Watt now has played 10 games this year. He has 16 sacks in 10 games. That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. He like single-handedly made that Steelers defense, play to a level that they could win that game. He is so fucking good. And again, I know there's a lot of good defensive players this year, and there's guys playing really good games, but TJ Watt is such an insane difference maker. So there's my vote.
Thoughts and prayers to Kirk Cousins on Thursday night.
Yeah.
TJ Watt's coming.
16 sacks in 10 games? He only has 2 games where he hasn't had a sack.
That's like when people talk about O.J. Simpson and the numbers that he put up in a 14-game season, just unreal shit that you can't even think about. Talking strictly between the lines on O.J. Simpson.
Thank you, Peter King.
16 sacks in 10 games it's
crazy.
I don't think anyone's ever done that before.
And I'm wondering if Myles Garrett somehow has more, and people are going to be like, how could you not say this, Myles Garrett? All I'm going to say is Myles Garrett is exceptional. TJ Watt has moments where, and I guess Myles Garrett does too, so I don't know what I'm saying. And Myles Garrett is he's fucking crazy too, and so is Aaron Donald, whatever. But TJ Watt definitely has moments where he just completely takes over a game, and like today was one of those days where he was a problem.
16 sacks in 10 games. I'm saying, like, I don't know if there's a 10-game split that another player's had in the history of the NFL that has 16 sacks over the course of 10 consecutive games.
All right, so
I guess they weren't consecutive for TJ Watt.
Myles Garrett has 14 sacks in 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Still
Myles
crazy.
Garrett, everyone says Myles Garrett's probably the Defensive Player of the Year. I think it's TJ Watt. So there it is. There's my vote.
I think it's Diggs.
I think it's TJ Watt. I think he does so much to make that defense so much better. Like that defense, It had a little bit of a slow start, which was weird because Tomlin, that was such a classic Tomlin rah-rah spot. Like Mike Tomlin, I love how, speaking of predictable, how he can predict what the Ravens are going to be doing. If the Steelers are underdogs and everyone has counted them out, Mike Tomlin will find a way to get his team to win. And then if they I wish the Steelers were playing the Texans next week because they would be 10-point favorites and they would lose outright. That's what would happen.
That's what they do.
That's what would happen. Okay, those are all the games. Good job. That was pretty quick.
Fast show.
Very fast show.
It is 2:30 a.m. right now.
All right, PFT, one last sponsor before we get to Football Guy of the Week, and then we will do Who's Back of the Week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk to you guys about Sport Clips. We love Sport Clips. I have an appointment to get my hair cut at Sport Clips if somehow Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back and leads the Washington football team to that first playoff win. Wait, do I have to get my hair cut if it's Taylor Heineke and Fitzpatrick's on the team?
No.
What was the verbiage?
It was Fitzpatrick starting.
Okay, he has to start and win. The hair remains safe. But if you're looking to get a haircut, I highly suggest you go to Sport Clips. Sport Clips is the best place that a guy can go to get their haircut. It's so crazy to walk into a hair cutter and guessing if there's a wait. You don't want to be finding yourself in a situation where you sit around waiting to get your haircut. Did you know that at Sport Clips you can go to their website or app and claim your spot in line before you go in? Long wait, short wait, doesn't matter. You can see your spot on the list. You can do whatever you want. Sport Clips is going to send you a 15-minute text when it's time to arrive. The opt-in is required. Message and data fees apply. Sport Clips, best place for a guy to get their haircut, and make sure to get the legendary steam towel. Best part of any haircut is going to Sport Clips and having that steam towel when you're done. Most refreshing thing that you can possibly have happen to you at a barbershop.
Okay, Football Guy of the Week, Billy.
So first off, I want to start by directing you to the Barstool Sports store where we're selling Tate Meyer T-shirts that have his number, Oxford football on it, and all proceeds go to the Tate Meyer Scholarship Fund that his family set up.
Awesome.
A lot of people sent in, make Tate Meyer football player, Football Guy of the Week, Football Guy of the Year, but honestly, no award that I could give him would just his actions and selflessness. So he's not going to be included in the nominees for this week, but
I think what he did goes above Football
Correct.
Guy of the Week.
Yeah.
It would,
Correct.
yeah.
Yeah, go buy a
Doesn't do
shirt.
it, sir.
Thank
Go
you,
buy a
Billy.
shirt, support him.
Yes.
So for last week winner was Vita Vea for sporting an amazing lost tooth and just all-time Football Guy performance.
Yep.
And now for this week's nominees. Number 1 is Gardner Minshew, quarterback for the Eagles. He was seen celebrating, as we talked about, freaking out with his father. Just really shows how much this guy just loves football.
Loves
Yeah.
it.
Just physically exuding like you can't find anyone with that kind of passion for anything. That's just huge football guy move.
Yeah.
Just
No, Billy, how do you feel about him as somebody who has also been known to steal valor from time to time? Minshew wearing the aviator jacket afterwards with the flight patches on it. Where does that fall?
It's like, people wear jerseys because they're fans of the team.
Got it.
They that's what it's more about. But
Yeah.
it's a huge move. Our second nominee is Sean McDermott, head coach, Buffalo Bills. So he told a radio show that he did a book report on the Monday football musical theme one time in grade school.
Monday Night
Love it.
Football?
Yeah. So
Which one is that? Da-da-da, da-da-da? No, that's Fox. What's Monday Night Football?
I think it was.
Wow, that tells you that it's late in the season and in the night.
What do you say about it?
I don't know. I'm actually really
I
curious.
actually think
couldn't find
that's less of a football guy move than John Gruden losing his virginity to the Notre Dame fight song
Yes.
in
Yeah.
his own head.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 3 is Mitch Hewitt, the head coach of the Chardon Hilltoppers High School. So he had a great quote.
Okay.
At a press conference, he said, "We do things that in 5 years are probably going to get us all fired. When our parents become soft, Chardon football will die a slow death." So that's just
that was a coach?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He's just saying, please nobody look too hard into the drills that I'm running in practice.
Okay.
Just all time.
He's actually, he's just warning everyone,
Yeah.
there will be a scandal, and I'll look like a really bad guy. But I told you. Okay.
But they had a huge winning culture.
Okay.
They did
There you
really
go. They
well.
win
So,
football
I mean,
games.
that's the product on the field.
Yep.
So did John Voight, Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
He won a lot of damn football games.
And our last nominee is Jeff Stoutland, O-line coach for Eagles, who got sent to the hospital before the game because the coaching staff and players were like, you should go to the hospital. Something's wrong. And he went, and they released him, and he just got
What was wrong?
I couldn't really find that out. He was just feeling under the weather.
It's such a football guy move, though, to like walk into a group of people, and they just look at you, and they're like, dude, you need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, something's wrong. Not we'll take you to the hospital either.
Yeah,
like, go to the hospital.
Get out of here
Yeah,
now.
get out of our face.
Go. You're like, I feel fine. No, trust me. Go.
No one knows. I couldn't find why he went to the hospital. I don't think he was telling everyone his symptoms. Just
Havana
not
syndrome.
complaining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Havana syndrome sounds like.
All right, and then do you have a honorary?
Yes.
Throwback.
So there's this
This
new
happened a week ago.
Madden
Oh.
documentary coming out.
Yep.
There's a bunch of Madden clips.
Oh, this is a
on.
throwback in the future.
He's still alive.
Yeah,
This is a
Back
future.
to the Future.
Yeah. It's a throwback, but it hasn't happened yet.
No, but there's just this hilarious clip of John Madden making fun of Troy Aikman for not being able to grow a beard,
Couldn't
Okay.
be me.
and drawing a beard on Troy Aikman.
He
during
was the king of the
broadcast.
telestrator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like he can grow. He's got a little fuzz coming in here, here, and here, and then he highlighted his mustache.
Yeah.
And I was like, but absolutely nothing here.
It was like before. I feel like the telestrator doesn't get used anymore.
Well, you know what they did is they got very, very aware of the fact that every time somebody would try to draw something on the Telestrator, it would end up being a dick and balls.
Yes.
And so they gave them like stamps to put on the Telestrator now, where it's like perfect circles here,
Yeah.
perfect. They computerized it too much, took the human element out of the game.
John Madden was the king of it.
Mhm.
Okay, good football guys. Go vote right now on the blog. Is it up?
It's gonna be up when this airs.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
You don't know when this airs.
I don't.
It's
I wake up
about
every
to go
morning
up.
on Monday and post it.
We're actually
So there's people who listening right now who it's not up.
Okay, I'm gonna put it down right now.
Okay, perfect. So
Are
it
you-
will be up.
Wait, are you gonna take it down or put it up right now?
I want to put. Oh, I wrote it. It's ready. I just wait to post it.
Okay.
Got it.
Well, you already made a promise that it would be up by
Shout
the
out
time
to
you
people who
hear
are
this.
listening to this and also don't see it. You're the real ones.
Mhm. Keep refreshing the blog until it's up.
Yes. All right. Let's finish up. We got Who's Back of the Week. Cash App is our sponsor for Who's Back of the Week. Major announcement from the Cash App. They're now introducing team banking to the masses. If you're 13 plus, you need to download the Cash App now. If you have kids, if you have a little brother, if you have a little sister, a little cousin, you can use the Cash Card. It's like a debit card as well as any boost currently available. Just a heads up and a reminder to the teens out there, or if you have a teen in your household, you won't be able to buy or sell stocks or Bitcoins, but you can teach them about money and they can have some independence with the Cash Card, which is like a debit card using the Cash App. So download the Cash App, enter the referral code Barstool. You receive $10 and they will send $10 to the ASPCA when you download the Cash App from the App Store, Google Play Store today. Okay, Hank.
My Who's Back of the Week is Lewis Hamilton.
Ooh,
did he win?
Louis.
He won today,
Yep.
F1, coming down to the wire.
Yep.
Him and Max Verstappen in a very tight race.
Yep.
After today's win, they're tied.
I
Exact
love
same
it.
amount of points, one race to go.
I can't wait to watch this in February
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not going to watch it live next week. Is it next week?
I believe it's next week.
Okay,
yes.
what time is it at?
Probably like 11 o'clock. Hopefully in the morning. Usually it's like today's was like in the middle of football.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But I'm, again, very excited to watch it in February.
Have we watched the Daniel Ricciardo win that he had a couple weeks ago?
No, because the series doesn't come out. It comes out fully in like February or March.
Okay.
So that's when we will watch it all and be like, that was sick. Oh, that was when I was watching Colts Texans instead of this.
Right.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
It will be.
I'm actually very excited. I actually really want to go back and watch the race from today. So we'll see what happened. Because it seemed like it was an awesome one. Everyone was talking about it. It's just, football season. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? At least we're honest about it. I can't wait till next summer when I start watching F1 again and get really excited about it. And then football comes and I forget about it again.
Big
and
Cat,
round we go.
I just happened upon the Jameis 1 of 1 page right now.
Oh, yeah. He's responding to everyone.
This is pretty amazing. The second tweet on his timeline right now, it's a quote tweet of a video of police attacking a Greek Orthodox priest who's yelling at the Pope. And Jameis 1 of 1 says, The police knocked down and drug off the ancient Orthodox priest simply for speaking from about 200 or so feet away from Pope Francis. I guess it's not only anti-Jameis Winston media members that aren't up for a public debate.
He's got a sense of humor. The guy's got a sense of humor. I fucking love that guy.
Oh, my God.
All right, PFT, your who's back?
My who's back of the week is the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway challenge.
Yes.
That was back big time this weekend. We had a couple real stellar performances. I don't think anybody threw a normal pass.
Nope. The game has totally changed.
They've hacked it. They've hacked it.
It's completely changed.
This is the future of football that America wants right now, I guess.
Yeah.
But there were a couple times that really made me laugh. One time was when the guy that looked like Billy from Duke went out there, and thank God they got somebody from Duke to compete in this. Mm-hmm. And he won, and he's just an absolute psychopath. Just like stone cold. He said he had been preparing like hours a day for the last several weeks.
Yeah, there was a clip where he was warming up, and then his first two shots were like total fucking bricks. It was very funny.
Yeah, and they asked him like what he wanted to do with his economics degree, and he was basically like, I want to make a lot of money, and if maybe
run the world.
He goes make the world a better place too, like the speech from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, right.
In episode 1. Total psycho of a guy. And then I love the referees in that.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are 5 officials. They have 5, are those the actual game officials?
Yes, they are.
So there are rules that they're supposed to be monitoring. Do they throw a flag if you step in front of the line?
I don't think so, but they do a good job. It's like the 3-point ref. It's like the ref in the 3-point contest in the NBA All-Star Weekend where he just sits there and he just puts up the 3 over and over. It's very, very funny and very stupid.
There's one in the dunk contest, too, that's there, I guess, to not call travels.
Yes.
I don't know why they have that. I probably just like when the dunk goes in.
Yeah.
They're like, that's 2. That's
or
2.
Time.
That's 2. Yeah, probably the time guy. But, I love watching the Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway challenge. I tweeted this out, but I do believe that it's heavily biased towards students, and there should be an equivalent towards people who are maybe just out of college that have a real job that want to quit their job. There should be a Dr. Pepper event for those guys, too.
Agreed.
That just want, like, give me a year off that I don't have to work, and I can just watch football maybe for a year.
Yes, and do this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my who's back is actual college football and bowl games because it was an awesome weekend. I learned my lesson to not bet against Nick Saban. The game of the year was a total disaster. I felt very bad.
You gave him that good rat poison, the yummy rat poison.
I mean, that was they all of a sudden knew how to block, and also Kirby Smart, you're a fucking doofus. Like, your doofus face, never going to win anything. Now they'll probably win it all. But we have our college football playoff set. Alabama 1, Michigan 2, Georgia 3, Cincinnati 4. I'm actually already going to do it again because I actually think Cincinnati could give Alabama a good game because their secondary is that fucking good, and they have a cornerback that is like just doesn't let anyone catch anything.
And Mechie's out too.
So I'm going to do it again.
I feel so bad for Mechie. He's been one of my favorite receivers in college football for the last 2 years.
Yeah, so that sucks. But it's going to be a great bowl season, including the Arizona Bowl. So we have Boise State versus Central Michigan announced, ready to go. Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl. We have Scott Stapp from Creed, who's going to be the halftime show. I'm going to jump out of an airplane. Punk's going to play in Arizona. We're going to do a trivia thing. It's going to be a whole week, incredible week in Arizona, so go buy tickets now. And my other who's back is dinosaurs, because Stuart Mandel, who has been very anti-Barstool when it comes to this bowl game, had an all-time tweet about this, the announcement of the bowl game. He said, "Wait until these teams and their fans realize this game is not on television, only Barstool streaming." So Stuart Mandel tweeted this on the internet, to a bunch of people who have the internet because they're reading it on the internet. He also works for a subscription site on the internet.
That exists online.
Right? That you have to pay for to read his stuff, The Athletic.
You can get The Athletic on, like, if you have a rabbit ear antenna on
television,
no, you
can. Yeah, right. So you can, or it gets delivered to your door every day.
Right.
I would argue, and obviously there's probably going to be less people who watch our bowl game than the college football playoff. I'll just throw that out there right now. But I would argue that YouTube, where we're going to be streaming it, is more accessible than television at this point in terms of the amount of people who have phones in their pocket and stream stuff anyway. But Stuart Mandel's right. He did tweet this on the internet to a bunch of people who have the internet, who know how to use the internet, who can watch the game on the internet, that it's not going to be on television, it's going to be on the internet where we're actually having this conversation.
There will probably be some sick-ass letters to the editor that get written like a week after the game that get delivered to like a newspaper office from people that couldn't figure out how to watch it. But the people who would tweet to complain about it, they have the internet.
Right.
So they'll be able to watch it, no problem.
Right.
I'm excited about this game. It's
going to be awesome.
You know that table that they had set up on Fox where it was like Brady Quinn, Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush. It looked like if Jesus did the Last Supper at the Heisman House.
They squeeze everyone in.
Yeah, we should do that except with more people at our table. We should have like
squeeze everyone
the biggest table of dudes possible.
Yes. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. Central Michigan, little soft spot in my heart because I love Daniel Richardson, their quarterback. Khalil Pimpleton, one of the best names in college football. Lou Nichols, awesome running back. So, yeah, fire up chips. And I'm unbiased.
I love Boise State. I love the blue turf, the Smurf
Bachmeier.
turf. I love the dog, R.I.P., that used to go out there and chase the tee down.
Yep.
Can we get a dog to do that?
Sure.
We should get a dog to do that.
Billy can do it.
If you live in Arizona and you have a dog that knows how to fetch a tee, let me know.
Yes.
We would love to get involved with that.
We'll talk more college football, but yeah, bowl season, there's nothing better than bowl season, just seeing all of these matchups. And I do feel bad for Mike Gundy in Oklahoma State because that was a brutal, brutal way to miss out on not only a Big 12 championship, but the college football playoff.
Got to die for that pylon. Taylor Heineke makes that play.
Brutal, 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 brutal. All right, Billy.
My Who's Back of the Week is Rec Specs.
Oh.
Stephen Weatherly was wearing Rec Specs. It was the first time I've seen Rec Specs in a long time.
Stephen, the guy in the Broncos?
Yeah.
He's got tinted Rec Specs. He's got sunglass Rec Specs. He's been wearing them all year. They look awesome.
And my other Who's Back is Kenny Pickett. That fake slide was
slide.
Electric.
So good.
Slide cancel.
That's good.
Dude, it was... I mean,
by the way, congrats on the dub.
Yes.
Hank got his dub.
Oh, yeah.
On Thursday night at about 1:32 in the morning.
Yes.
We talked about on Friday's show. Me, Billy, and Imrags were in there coaching. It was a team effort, and we were so proud of Hank. You clutched up, Hank.
Having the boys there with me meant the world.
Way to go, Hank. Was that pointed to me because I wasn't there?
No. I wasn't expecting PFG and Billy to stay, and they did.
Got it.
I wouldn't have missed it. Love you, Hank.
I have to get up at 7 in the morning every day. I have two kids. You're sleeping. You're snoozing. You're dreaming.
The Kenny Pickett slide.
I'm still up.
You fall into one of two camps.
Yeah.
One is like that was fucking sweet, which I consider myself in that camp, and then the other side, which is like quarterbacks have it too easy. If you next thing you know, like
that
slippery
camp
slope.
sucks. Stuart Mandel's in that camp.
I do think that the next time he does a slide, you should give the defender like a half-second grace period.
Yes.
So like you can't complain about a late hit on a slide the next time that you do it.
It was sick.
It was an amazing. I've never seen that
he
done.
didn't like slow down. It was perfectly executed.
Do you think that he meant to do a fake slide, or do you think he was actually about to slide and then at the last second he was like, nah?
Well, no one went after him, so he just had everyone frozen.
The linebacker just pulled up on him even before he was about to go down. So
also, Wake Forest, I don't understand. Their offense was throw it deep, run it for 1 yard, throw it deep, punt. It was a wild game to watch. But Chubb pick, great year.
Wake Forest. I can't believe that Wake Forest had the year that they did this year.
Yeah, they were awesome. And that's why we should expand the playoff. And guess who's the only one to blame for not expanding the playoff? Oh, yeah, that's ACC because they're trying to flex some leverage that they don't have over everyone else. Make it 12. Saturday was awesome. Saturday would have been even better if Baylor automatically got in, Utah automatically got in, Pitt automatically got in. That would make it so fun.
Agreed.
All right, Jake, wrap us up.
Yeah. First off, shout out everyone who watched the broadcast this weekend. I really appreciate the support.
Yep.
On ESPN Plus.
Shout out Iona for covering.
Yes, and then an upset. Quinnipiac beat Manhattan.
Let's
on
go.
Sunday. My Who's Back of the Week are things being wild. We had LeBron James in attendance for LeBron James Jr.'s high school game against LeBron James Sr.'s high school, St. Vincent St. Mary's against Sierra Canyon. On the floor, Staples Center, where LeBron James Sr. usually plays, LeBron James Jr. played with LeBron James Sr. watching.
Damn.
Wow, that is wild.
Yeah.
That's very wild.
That's crazy.
That's very wild.
Wild.
Yeah.
19 points for Bronny.
Bronny, okay. Good job, Bronny.
He was actually, he was pretty wet from three. He also was flexing because he was shooting NBA threes.
Yeah, the
That's
line's
both
right there.
threes out
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I don't know
That's
why he
LeBron
wears the
James
mask.
Sr.'s son.
Like, where,
It's
The team, the school
yeah,
probably
that's
requires.
Yeah,
it.
it's
California
mandated.
law.
You have to have it around your chin when you play.
There's a lot of high schools that have been doing that. It's very dumb.
It's very strange.
But we don't want to get into that. But
No.
it's very, very dumb.
yeah, it's insane.
It's
It doesn't-
I know
it
Illinois
literally
is doing
does
that.
nothing.
It's so stupid.
It literally
it's so
does
goddamn
absolutely
stupid.
nothing.
They put it up like during timeouts or something. I don't know. It's so fucking stupid.
That's wild.
Yes, that is wild.
It is wild. But you're
Yeah.
playing basketball.
Unfortunately, though,
Bre-
LeBron I think
breathing
agrees with this
on
take,
people.
so we should probably reverse it.
I think it.
No,
I think
LeBron
they
had
should.
another good take
Yep.
today on Twitter.
He did.
Yeah, I'll read it.
What'd he say? Don't.
No, I want to know. I want to know. Face it. Don't run. Oh, bonus who's back? James Madison going to the quarterfinals again.
I can watch
Dynasty.
TB12 throw a football / run an offense all day
Oh.
long, man. It's so beautiful. I favorited it.
You did.
Wait, run it back again.
I can watch TB12 throw a football / run an offense all day long, man. With 3
Sheesh.
exclamation points. It's so beautiful. And he's right.
He was drunk. All right. Numbers.
8.
81.
88.
18.
21. 21.
Fifth time.
Whoa. Mini Dynasty?
47.
Giraffes have the same amount of neck bones as humans, which is 7.
Love you guys.